the way to Zion. I'm on my knees, laying my life on the line. I'm begging, please, please don't let me fall. Give me strength. Place my feet, guide my path. Show me the way going to Zion, to Zion.
I feel the Spirit calling me, drawing me back home. Oh, it's happened with my family. I know it won't be long. One day you're gonna look for me, and I'll be gone home. Yeah, Israel is calling us back home to Zion. I'm on my knees. I lay down my life. I'm begging, please.
Shalom, brothers and sisters. I'm Elder Rawchaa from the Gathering of Christ Church here, along with Elder Lawya. Okay? We're live in our new studio here. All right, there you go. In the new studio, everything is copacetic. And Elder Lawya, you with me, right? All
Yes,
right.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, the mic sounds good. Check one. The mic sound good. Check two. How are you today, brothers and sisters? I'm Elder Rawchaa, of course, you all know, along with Elder Lawya, and we have a short broadcast for you in the midst of this 7 months. So many things is going on in the earth at one time during this spiritual, this holy time, which is the 7th month. And there's no coincidence that the 7th month is the month of trumpet. Same time this is going on, disasters are happening all around the earth. Wars and rumors of wars. And it's no coincidence it's happening in the 7th month. At the same time, which means that we go into what we would call the trumps. Then subsequent to that, the atonement, which just passed, Day of Atonement. And then we're going to have, a chance or time of reflection during a 7-day period of dwelling in booths like our forefathers did coming out of Egypt. The Feast of Tabernacles are upon us. At the same time that the Most High has awakened our people, the same time, you're waking up everywhere. The evil elite and the powers that be are doing whatever they can to do what? Run interference. And I'm going to talk about that today. I'm going to tell you right now. The other day, Lawya, I pulled out on a quick blog. I'm going to start doing those. And sometimes if something come to your mind and you want to just put it on your phone for 15 minutes, you think people need to hear it, I'll just upload it on our main page. We're going to start doing APBs or bulletins based on what's going on real time as what? The near comes, as the time runs short. You'll see us putting up clips, minimal clips, not 2-hour clips, just to put you in the know that as a daily reminder or a regular reminder to stay on the path and not lose that original love, okay? Now, I know a lot of you out there were waiting on Blog Talk or for Blog Talk for us to come on, but we found out, just like the video I've mentioned earlier, Lawya, a few days ago, about YouTube censorship. Well, it doesn't just stop at YouTube censorship, okay? Now, YouTube is a great platform. This is where the people are. And it's ironic, no coincidence, that mainstream have left mainstream to come where we were. Because this is where the people are. Okay, so they've pulled that from right up under the regular people. YouTube is no longer YouTube. I've mentioned that I found out that there have been, just out of nowhere, unsubscribing people from our channel. You subscribe. They have people working in the background to unsubscribe you in the cloud of night, in the dark of night. While you 3, 4 in the morning, we wake up and we still at the same subscription, even though people are emailing me, they're telling me, they're sending me messages and all that saying that they subscribe to us. On top of that, no notifications. You don't get any notifications. You would have to come seek us on YouTube, and that's on purpose. Well, Blog Talk have come up with a thing now. Blog Talk used to be free. It was the people that made Blog Talk what it is. Mm-hmm. And now they're making it where if you want to go for 1 or 2 hours, you have to pay a certain amount monthly to actually stream for that amount of time. And they're charging this exorbitant amount. So today we're going to try something out to forego that altogether. We may go back to Blog Talk starting next week, but this thing hit us out of nowhere. Today we're going to come into the conference call. You can call into the conference call through your phone, and we're going to have Elder Lawya work the channel for the conference, okay? He'll work the studio for the conference to bring people in and all that so that you can have your question or comment on our discussion today. Our discussion is an open discussion, mind you. What's going on, Israel? There's an all-out attack on the truth. And it has everything to do with our people waking up. Lawya, I was telling them the other day that a notice came to my house. I know you've seen the
post. I saw that. Yep.
That said by October 1st, 2020, that all IDs would need a modification.
Right.
Right? In order for one to get on an airplane. Now, other nations all over the earth have been flying back and forth for the longest with no issue at all, strictly with a passport. But I said it years ago. I said, listen, get in front of it and get your passport. Because they're going to use that as an excuse to say, well, you don't have the proper identification to travel in our heightened times of prophecy. So we can get before it. Okay? Make sure you get your passports. It doesn't cost that much. And make sure your children get the passport. It's no coincidence they begin to attach family court and all these other things with whether or not you can travel. Mm-hmm. Evoking passports or whatever the case is. And, you know, that's their due diligence. They're doing their job. There's nothing to it. It's upon us to do what? Be law-abiding citizens, number one. Be spiritual law-abiding citizens as the children of Israel. Okay, continually operate in civil one with another. Okay, make sure you do that. Okay, follow the laws. Don't break any laws out there. Because they're going to use criminality or the cloud of what you would call criminality to revoke or not allow you to have access outside of controlled areas. That time is coming. We talked about this a long time ago. I mean, there's so many things going on with what's going on in the Bahamas. We still are receiving accounts, reports on what's going on with the hurricane there. It was 2,500 missing in the initial aftermath in Bahamas. And we're letting our brothers and sisters know, especially those that are in the church, to reach out, let us know so that we can help you with relocating or whatever the case is. And if it comes a time in which we need some extra relief for our brothers and sisters in Bahamas, of course, we'll come online and say, listen, we have a specific relief, a financial relief for the Bahamas, and it will be strictly for the Bahamas. It will never touch our hands and go directly to the brothers and sisters in need. Okay? The same time this is going on, and the name of this show is What's Going On. You can let us know what's going on. Okay? There have been a disaster. Actually, a red alert has been called within Houston right now. Back-to-back years, Houston has been flooded. And now It's under some type of state of an emergency right now. All right. Okay. Elder Lawya, why don't you give them the access information to call us up through the conference phone so that we can ask the people out there what's going on?
Absolutely, absolutely. We're currently coming through free conference call, and the call-in number, write this down, is 605.
I'm going to put it here. 605, go ahead.
Yep, 313.
One moment. Let me put it in. Let me type it in. 605.
Yep, 313.
313.
51.
5111.
11. And the access code in order to get into the call is 539.
The access number is what?
It's 539.
539.
688.
688. Okay, let's repeat that to call in and give your insight on what's going on in the earth. You can call again 605-313-5111. Okay, and you would hit the access number 539-688 to get in queue, and then you can conversate with us no different than if we were on Blog Talk. We'll go down your list, the online meeting, and have that conversation this way, since they're trying to censor and cut us off altogether. Okay, I'm going to put that in your chat real quick. See it? There it is. Okay, I'm going to copy it here. One second here. I'm going to copy it here, so I'll have it in front of me again. And ever so often, Elder Lawya, we can just make that announcement.
Absolutely, absolutely.
One moment. One second. Okay, give me the number again, Elder Rawchaa, real quick. I have it here. 605 313 5111. Okay. And the access is 539
688.
688. Let's jump right in. Okay. There's a few things going on right now. Okay. That I would like to talk about initially. All right. A few things. Out of nowhere, brothers and sisters, talking about what's going on. Out of nowhere, James Cameron has come out with a new documentary, and it's called, let me put it here. No, I'll skip that. We don't want no trial. We don't want to subscribe to this thing, okay? The Lost Tomb of Jesus and Biblical Documentary Timeline, right? That James Cameron has come up with, right? Also, out of nowhere, there's another documentary. Let me go here for you. Let me pull this up for you, brothers and sisters. This is going to blow you away. It's going to blow you away. Let me pull this up here. A quest for the lost tribes of Israel. A quest for the lost tribes of Israel. If y'all can see it there. It didn't switch out, right?
Yeah, still showing the other one there.
Okay, let's get it. Let me get this out of here, and let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Window capture. All right. Right here.
Yep.
Look at what we have here, folks. Look at what we have here. Isn't that something? Isn't that? Matter of fact, I'm going to put this in big, bold. Quest for the lost tribes, a biblical documentary timeline. I can hear a few people, so I don't know if they're making it where under this.
Yep. So they may be calling in. So what you
they're
can
calling
do,
it.
I'm going to
go ahead,
pull it
take
up
care.
here.
You can take care of it.
I'm just going to put it on mute, brothers and sisters, until we're able to
We're going to mute it.
open it up.
Okay, great. Look at what we have here. Quest for the lost tribes, a biblical documentary timeline. Huh. Quite interesting, isn't it? Talking about what's going on. They're showing black people, right, in the avatar.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? How can you try to make a claim or claim that you're making a quest for the lost tribes of Israel overseas with the Negroes and the poor people, the North American Indians, who are prophesied to suffer right here in America? See, what they're doing is they're trying to control the narrative. Since they can't stop the fact that God, our God, the God of Israel, has awakened his children. Now that we have decided to walk away from mainstream pagan-controlled religion, where were your documentaries showing black people as Israelites all the years we were under the control of the Christian church? Jehovah's Witnesses, Seventh-day Adventists, Baptists, Holy Rollers, Pentecostal. Where was your lost tribe of Israel? See, now they're trying to control the narrative. Why? Because it's out there now. And the powers that be know that it was our God that's behind this awakening. If it was up to them, black people would have continued to believe we were from the seed of Ham. We would have continued to believe that we were Hamites, Africans, Egyptians, or some lost people with no biblical ties altogether, if it was up to them. So since they can't stop the awakening, which was prophesied out of our Bible, since they had no hand in giving the information to us, it's upon their power, the media now, to control the narrative and say, well, let's just throw them a bone, and then we'll throw out a little caveat and still steer them under our control. Okay? You don't even have to look at the documentary, folks. Just go to YouTube if you can, through the censorship, and find Israelites that are teaching. We have found the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Okay? It's one we found about to read the Bible with me right now. Okay. The lost tribes of Israel has been found already. If you don't believe that, there was a video we put on YouTube before, when it was the real YouTube, titled, The 12 Lost Tribes Found. We found them already, buddy. So what's going on? We're gonna put a lavish production behind it. We may nominate it for an Emmy. We can show those ignorant blacks. We'll throw some money on it. We'll get James Cameron. We'll get him out of the synagogue and say, listen, buddy, we'll throw you a few shekels. What we need you to do, we're gonna give you an Emmy. We're gonna give you an award, and guess what? We will verify and be behind and validate your documentary. And the blacks are going to say, it must be true. It won an Emmy. It won an Oscar. It's trash. It's trash. For almost nothing at all, or zero, you can go find our video, if they allow, the 12 lost tribes found, and start there. And guess what? The synagogues didn't give this to us. The Christian church didn't give it to us. Okay? The Masjids, or what you would call the Muslims, didn't give it to us. Farrakhan didn't give it to us. The God of Israel revealed it. So we don't need your documentary, Finding the Lost Tribes of Israel. We are the lost tribes of Israel. Found. So what's going on? Anything you want to say on that, Elder Lawya?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I think for this particular documentary, it's interesting because this
Yeah.
documentary, I think it came out in the late 90s, maybe like 98, around that particular
pushing
time
it
period.
now, yeah.
Exactly. So it's interesting that they now re-released or put this on YouTube during a time period in which this has become a hot button topic amongst the YouTube community, where, you know, Israelites, they're getting, regardless of the organization, regardless of the group, they're getting a lot of attention on YouTube. So now it's convenient, or it's a convenient time for them to now release this particular documentary to kind of throw their bone, as you said, into the argument or into the conversation. And that's not to say, they probably do go to some of the tribes in the eastern part of the hemisphere or the eastern parts of the earth, and do go to some peoples that may be descendants of the Israelites. But the issue is that in order for them to be somewhat recognized, which I don't understand, if you're an Israelite by birth, it seems like they want you to be recognized through Judaism.
Yeah, so how does a New Jack validate Israelites?
Exactly.
You just came on the scene, buddy. How can what they call a New Jack say, well, you can be a Jew or an Israelite if we recognize you? Who are you? It kills me. Yeah, it's like, yeah, we can give them our stamp of approval. Who are you?
Right.
It kills me, but go on. I'm sorry.
Right. That's pretty much it. But you see this over and over. You see it with the Israelites that may be, or those who have identified themselves as being Israelites in Africa and other parts of the world. Usually there's that synagogue connection, which for me,
Yeah.
it sends a bit of a red flag for me. That's another conversation for itself.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, how can the imposters, if you will, be the authority on identifying who the nation of Israel is?
It's tripping me out right now, because at the same time they're censoring real Israelites, at the same exact time they're censoring us. They're going to bring an old documentary that was recorded years ago and put that at the forefront under the Google algorithms, so that if you now, because our people are organically leaving these churches and coming to the truth of themselves, right? If you now Google Israelites, you have to now weed through their garbage first, right? And then on top of that, they have this other guy who's running around trying to get validated through Israelites. He's supposed to be some type of Israelite connoisseur, right? This guy, Vocab Malone, this failed rapper, right? He was a failed DJ, trying to be us in the hip hop area. Failed. And then come to find out that the Israelites were the same people he was jockeying to emulate. And then, because the only thing he had going for himself for a while is the fact that I don't care how talented they are, I'm a Jew, I'm a chosen people. Only to find that the real Jews were on the street preaching in the highways, byways, and gaps called Israelites. Say what you want. Let me tell you, you can say what you want about the differences or variance in doctrine. But what cannot be denied is usually when they engage Israelites, it's never on the details concerning the prophecies of Israelites. They never say, well, prove to me this great claim you're stating. Prove to me that you're an Israelite, according to the Bible. They try to go into what? Trigger hot button topics that they can use in the future, building a negative dossier against Israelites to demonize the awakening. They'll only go into topics that would compromise the person they're talking with in the future. These like cunning snakes. They'll watch someone online and they'll see, okay, this group really, this group is not too many people looking at this group, and these are some young guys. They don't look that savvy. Not too many people are probably looking at them. Let's go and pick on them and provoke them into calling us the devil and say that they're going to do something to white people. Right? And then they'll just, believe it or not, compile all of these different dossiers against different Israelite groups, just fragmented people, 2 or 3 people on the street who no one is even looking at anyway, to compile this big narrative against Israelites. That's the plan. And I said it years ago that this terrorist crap they putting out there had nothing to do with bin Laden or Arabs, because if they was against Arabs, we wouldn't see mosques and businesses popping up by Arabs every day. That eventually that they was going to switch the narrative to black people, because God is waking us up, and they know that you cannot keep a lion, an Lion, a lion down. Once Judah started to figure it out, he would raise the rest of the tribes and desire something better. And what we desire, the world government, even the United States government, can't give it to us. Our promise. Right? Mm-hmm. We don't just want to be recognized as some Jews or some Israelites.
Right.
The promise of the kingdom always belonged to our people. And the only thing we would like to do is to see our people fulfill their righteous purpose as God's people and reap the benefits of it. Our focus should not even be about who they are and what they're dealing with and all that. Who cares? Listen, it should be about, we tried everything else, brothers and sisters. Our God is giving us the answer. It has always been there. Mm-hmm. But the pastors, the preachers, the Muslims, all the people, the immigrants they've been bringing over here, they've been running interference on us. The answers have always been in the Bible. So now they got this new jack. I'm going to keep on using that word because that's what they are. They just came on the scene. Vocab, chasing out every Israelite he can conversate with. To do what? It won't be long before that same guy is on some type of documentary that he compiled through his phone to try to get some type of money through the Southern Poverty Law Center and some documentary as some Israelite connoisseur or expert. This guy don't know nothing about any of us. He only focused on the negative or feed on the negative to use against all of us. Because why? They cannot really discuss the real topics. The fact that the true Jews are and will always be black people. The true Israelites are suffering in the ghettos, are divided in religion. And now that we've figured out the truth and the Bibles, and our people begin to go, our people are now beginning to come back to the law now. Mm. Their next phase now is to do what? To promote lawlessness now. To make it where it was about tradition, family, wholesomeness. That's what America used to be about, right? As long as we believed that they were the people, they wanted to keep it, they wanted to keep it at least on the surface squeaky clean. They wanted some air of virtue, since we at that time believed that they were the people. But now that we've figured out we're the Israelites, I mean, it's like you're talking about in the closet. They done bust down the doors, buddy. They opened all sin loose on the world now. When we thought we were African or Muslim or Christian, that thought that we had to die to go to heaven, that nothing is really for us as a people, when we were the lost sheep of the house of Israel, because we're found now. There was some attempt and some similitude of virtue within the country on the surface. Now that we say, well, listen, we want that for us. We want family. We want to follow God's law. We no longer want to be represented as criminals. And that's the whole point of exalting the Bible, because the Bible has the answers of civility, morality, our ceremonies. So I don't have to go to masjid or celebrate Christmas. God gave me a holy day. Get your mess out my face. Okay? So now we want the wholesomeness. We want to put off the criminality and clean up our image like God said we would through baptism and repenting of our sins. They say, I'll tell you what, let's let every demon from West Hell out against them now. Let's run interference. Let's tell them to be free, and to take full advantage of liberty. You must be an unrepentant sinner. You must represent all that's wrong. And we're gonna now promote strippers, whoremongers, murderers, cutthroats. And we'll throw all of our money on these particular evil characters as the example of what one must do to get out of their condition. I'm going to tell you right now, folks, it doesn't matter what they do. It's been written already. It's been written. We as a people will see that time. We will be free. But I wanted to put out there real quick, brothers and sisters. Let me put this phone to the side. It threw off my concentration a little bit here. But folks, this is why they're censoring us. Why? How do you know this is why they're censoring us? Brothers and sisters, when have you seen the gathered of Christ Church as Israelites curse someone out or threaten to kill anyone or to harm anyone? When have you ever heard anyone at gathered Christ Church deny other nations within our four walls to learn the truth of our God's kingdom? Because our God is the God of all of us. How can I deny you when you are also part of his creation? That's how you know that it's a censorship deeper than just Israelites. Because not once have we put out anything during this ministry that was vulgar, that was hatred, but yet it's being censored nonetheless. See? That lets you know it's not what they claim it is, that there's some bad Israelites out there talking about killing white people and they're disturbing the peace and they're talking about raping people. That's the example that, believe it or not, you can find on YouTube. They're not trying to really censor that example of Israelites. Right? I mean, we're peaceful with all people. See, but they're censoring us. Why? Because of truth. Truth. They're even finding people from the other side, Australia somewhere, of people that only probably met us one time, who wasn't even rooted in the word, to try to throw a negative spin against the word. Out of all the people on earth and how long we've been teaching, that's all you could find. And yet that was fragmented, sparse to the degree where no one could put two and two together with it because it was total nonsense. You got a guy out there who want to be us. Right? He want to be us. And on top of that, he's just looking for anyone to say anything negative about our people being the true Jews. And it gets under his skin. I know at night, I know he's biting his fingernails. He's squeezing his pillow tight, crying, and I thought I was the one. Oh Lord, oh Jehovah, oh Yahweh, you have forsaken me. And then next thing you know, a black man with a mitre shows before him. Like, no, dude. You want to see what an Israelite? There's one right next to me. Got the whole deal. The beard, mustache, and mitre. Israelite. They're right there. Who am I? I'm an Israelite. And proud of it. And you should be proud of it too. But I digress. I don't want to spend the whole thing on this guy. I'm talking about what's going on right now. So real quick before I open it up, let's try this. Let's try this conference call real quick to see if it works.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. First, we're going to try the volume. Then I'm going to put it in question and answer mode so that
Yeah.
you can better regulate some of the responses
Yeah.
here. All right. Here we got the 770 area code, last 4 digits, 7116.
7116. Come on, you're live.
So let us know if you can hear us.
Can you hear us? 7116.
Shalom, elders.
Oh, we can hear him. Shalom, how you doing? What's going on?
Shalom, elders.
Shalom, talk to me.
Well, actually, right now, elders, I'm at work, just listening in.
Okay,
All right.
okay. What's going on in your area?
Yes,
you
yes,
wanted to
yes.
say
I
anything?
wanted to ask you guys,
Okay. You wanted to ask us?
Yeah, my area right now, you know, everything is pretty much like it is all over the country. You know, sin is running rampant.
It seems like there's
People
a
are not
delay.
keeping their laws. The morality is out of control. And I guess my question is, as far as concerning the Sabbath,
Yeah.
a lot of us got to work on the Sabbath.
Okay.
But I'm hearing there's a lot of conflict when some of us have to go to work and some of us that don't have to go to work.
Well, who's giving you the conflict? Where are you getting the conflict from? Let's get Matthew 12 real quick. Where's the conflict coming from?
Well, I'm getting it from my other brothers and sisters. They're telling me that
I'm saying, but
you
I'm saying
can't work on
I'm
the
saying
Sabbath.
what
and, you know,
what
due
brothers
to
and sisters
me
in
trying to
particular?
survive
Brother,
in
listen.
Babylon, you know.
Now listen to me, brother.
Sometimes
Just
I gotta
calm
work
down
on
for a
Sabbath.
second. Maybe there's a delay here. The whole thing is this, brother. Calm down for a second. When you say brothers and sisters, who are these brothers and sisters? Where are they from? Are they what group they're in? You got to be more specific.
Well, they're not particular groups. It's just other Israelites, people that are waking up. A lot of them are novice in their understanding.
Okay, well, I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to answer your question real quick. Put him on hold. Let me make it clear. If I was to listen to what every Israelite said and adjusted accordingly, no work would get done. That's number one. Okay? When it comes to opinions, listen. My work is in Christ. Christ have tasked us in the vineyard to do a work. That's number one. Another brother or sister might not understand that, being on the outside. And my work under Christ may appear sin to that particular person. Okay? See, and that's the whole point. You have to understand what grace is. You have to understand what grace is, because these people who actually you were listening to, probably from social media, probably from off online somewhere, who, I hate to use the word new jack again, but these people are fairly new, and they're zealous right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're zealous, and you know what? We all go to that stage where you want to make sure everything is buttoned up and you're doing nothing wrong. Okay, that's a given. But all in all, when you come of age to understand both good and evil, you begin to understand the value of grace, and you begin to appreciate what grace is. Okay, number one. When you come of knowledge and understanding, you would realize that the Levites had to work on the Sabbath to do what? To keep the service. What work did they do? They did the sacrifice. They set up the tables. They made sure they burned the fires. They did all those things on the Sabbath. Even David himself, Christ mentioned to the Pharisees who were viewing him erroneously, said, listen, Even David was tasked to go in the temple and take the showbread that only the Levites, that the priests could eat on the Sabbath day. And there's one here that's greater than David, is what Christ said. So keep in mind, brothers and sisters, that when the disciples were going through the corn eating on the Sabbath, you had Pharisees examining them working on the Sabbath, claiming they were doing something wrong. Okay, first of all, I'm following the Sabbath if I'm doing good on the Sabbath. What good is me not working on, what good is me staying away from the Sabbath if now I decide not to go to work to follow you and my children get kicked out? Are you going to pay my rent, Mr. Sabbath guy? Okay. Are you going to take care of my children? I have to work this day, and I'm still serving the Most High by taking care of my children until the Most High afford me the opportunity to work another day. That's where grace comes in at. Where now you're still serving the Most High on that day because in your mind you know you should be doing it. And when the first opportunity presents itself, you'll free yourself. That's using wisdom, exercising grace. Okay? And never try to follow the truth of the Most High based on outside pressure. That means you're no longer following the Most High. You're following man.
Right.
Until you're convinced in your heart, according to the Most High, what's right. That when you do it, that's when you know it's correct. That's when it's correct. Because why? You're doing it without a man pressuring you. That holds more weight with God than you doing it, than you doing it due to peer pressure. So no, I've had many people send emails and say, listen, why do you use the word J and why do you? I'm like, listen, man, go up the street somewhere. Okay. Because there's nobody that I'm talking to understand ancient Hebrew. And I'm not going to switch me saying Jesus to people who believe his name is Jesus until they learn his name is Jesus. And I'm going to use that grace to get my people out of a ditch. You didn't call me to this, and neither will I move one finger based on your observations of me. Okay? You cannot add 1 cubit to my stature. Okay? Get out of the way. You have all these people who have an opinion doing nothing. Doing absolutely nothing. How does that help you if I'm doing the Sabbath according to your observation of how I should do it? How is that helping you? Get out of the way. You put bonds on men that you don't even carry yourselves. They'll tell you what you should be doing, like it tells us in Matthew 23. But yet they won't move things with their own little finger. What they try to do is get servants for them to become their overlords. Look how much of the law I know. Look how much of the Bible I know. Be my servant. Follow me. Simple as a day's old.
And that's the issue. I think you mentioned that a lot of these people are doing nothing. A lot of this will come from people who are not tasked with any level of responsibility of leading people or shepherding or dealing in any type of position. Usually when you're dealing in a shepherding position, you understand that anything that you tell someone to do, you have to see that person through it or see it all the way through. So if I'm going to tell a brother or a sister not to work on the Sabbath, I now have to be there. It's now my responsibility to help them find the alternative for not working on the Sabbath.
Yeah. Listen, I'll be like, listen, hey, cool. I won't work on the Sabbath. I make this amount an hour, buddy. It's fine. Since you dropped the knowledge on me, I'm going to need you to give me $100 every Saturday.
Right.
I won't work. Let's read that in Matthew 12 real quick.
Yes, sir. Matthew chapter 12, verse 1. At that time, Yeshua went on the Sabbath day through the corn, and his disciples were hungered and began to pluck the ears of corn and to eat. But when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto him, Behold, thy disciples do that which is not lawful to do upon the Sabbath
So
day.
you had Israelites looking at Christ's disciples saying, well, the disciples are doing what is not lawful to do on the Sabbath day.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's a question, though. Were they right? Yes, they were right. They were right. According to the letter of the law, the disciples weren't supposed to be doing that. See, but you have to scratch your head and wonder, hey, buddy, that's telling me that I'm not supposed to be doing this on the Sabbath. What are you doing out here?
Right.
See? Who's to stop you from doing? There's nobody watching you. Who's to stop you from plucking some corn and eating it?
Mm-hmm.
See? They were out there to point the finger, to make blame. And this is the part that you got to understand when it comes to the spirit of Pharisee. They're not doing it to help you serve the living God or do things righteously. They're not concerned about your virtue or righteousness. They're more so concerned that they were able to tell you that you were wrong. See? Read it.
Verse number 3. But he said unto them, Have ye not read what David did when he was an hungered, and they that were with him?
Come on.
How he entered into the house of God, and did eat the showbread, which was not lawful for him to eat, neither for them which were with him, but only for the priest.
So he pulled out the scriptures they understood. Then he's asking them right now. According to your law that you're bringing forth, which is correct, wasn't David wrong also? Why didn't the Most High chastise him? Why wasn't he struck down at that very moment for disobeying the Sabbath? So now what Christ is doing is teaching the Pharisees. See? He's teaching them now. Because David was an Israelite. Why did the Most High allow him to do so? Finish reading.
Verse number 5.
Yeah?
Or have ye not read in the law how that on the Sabbath day the priest in the temple profane the Sabbath and are blameless?
He say, listen, the priests profane the Sabbath. Every Sabbath. But yet the Most High find no blame in them. Read.
Verse 6. But I say unto you that in this place is one greater than the temple. But if ye had known what this meaneth, I will have mercy and not sacrifice, ye would have not condemned the guiltless.
You would not have condemned the guiltless.
For the,
Go ahead.
for the Son of Man is Lord even on the Sabbath day.
Now, he's not saying the Sabbath is done away with.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying, listen, I'm Lord over it. And those that are working for the Most High, those that are working, keep in mind that these are servants of the Most High working as priests, the same as the priests did in the Old Testament. They're not out here doing wrong on the Sabbath. They were teaching all night. They were with me. You don't know what these people are doing? Mind your business, is what Christ is saying. Mind your business. Now, this is not saying the Sabbath is done away with. It's not done away with. Paul was teaching on the Sabbath. The disciples were teaching on the Sabbath. Okay, it's not done away with, but one can exercise grace on the Sabbath.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to show you, and I make this example all the time. When the Most High began to awaken me out of my sleep, while I was still an Israelite in the 90s and the early 2000s, it so happened that I began to teach on YouTube, and some brothers seen me from Connecticut on YouTube. And they was like, man, what you dropping, the New World Order, da-da-da. He says, you're not like we used to be and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, well, listen, brother, I'm just teaching, brother. That's everything is fine. I would like to come up and meet you and see y'all. And I'm like, that's fine, brother, anytime. The brother, I didn't even know the brother, but he was once with the group I was with in the early 90s. But I was no longer affiliated with that. We were baptizing. We were teaching grace. We were teaching other nations. We weren't cursing people out anymore like we were taught in the 90s. So the brother drives around. He drove for hours on the Sabbath to see me teach out there at 9th and Market. And then afterwards, I'm going to show you the hospitality. He came with, 3 other brothers. After I taught, right, we had a nice spread ready for the brother. We had soup, we had bread. The sister slaved to make sure some real potato soup, some bread, some salad. Everything was waiting there for these brothers. And I'm like, listen, because why? If I drive a long way, I would expect hospitality. Christ talks about hospitality. I'm no way I'm going to let you drive some 7 hours or some 5 hours and not get something to eat.
Right.
I didn't even ask the brothers to appreciate me having a spread ready for them. Right? That was my due diligence. You don't come in my city and don't eat. Listen to this. We were about to put a spread in front of these brothers, and the brother looked at me and says, Rawchaa. I'm like, yes, brother. The teaching was, a few people came in today. He looking at me saying, brother, did you cook on the Sabbath? And right there, I back up like this. Brother, I cooked for you. I didn't want you. He's like, brother, we don't cook on the Sabbath. I'm like, brother, you didn't cook. I did. You can eat it. Right? And then he's like, what? Then he started to get up in a bunch. Right? Now, what I wasn't going to do is have a confrontation and look to embarrass him. And I didn't want to embarrass the brother in front of the younger brothers he brought with him. So what I did when the opportunity presented itself, I said, listen, brother, it took no preparation for us to put the solid right there in front of it. That solid, we didn't cook that. You can eat that. So they sat there like with the rabbit food, throwing it down. Cool, no problem. And then afterwards, one-on-one, because I didn't want to embarrass the brother in front of others, I said to him, brother, you got a small car out there, don't you? He's like, yeah, that's a nice car. I'm like, brother, you done drove for about 5-6 hours. Don't tell me you didn't stop at a gas station. And you can see right there, the light came on. At that moment, the light came on. I'm like, you got a little car. Unless you got a little man hanging on the back of your car, refilling your gas tank, buddy. You went and purchased some gas. And I'm not blaming you, brother, because why? Christ's grace covers that. The fact that me and you are sitting here breaking bread as brothers is why Christ died on the cross. This is the reason Christ died, that so you and I can break bread as brothers in the land of our captivity. Christ is Lord over the Sabbath. You are my Sabbath, brother. We're together. The Most High is not blaming us for this. I cooked food for you. See? So I didn't try to make a big embarrassing thing for the brother, but one-on-one, I used it as a teaching opportunity. Listen, brother, you're not coming over here trying to be Lord over me. Even though he tried to show me up in front of other people, I'm like, it's okay, brother. There goes some carrots over there. You know what I mean? And I'm going to eat this sandwich with force. I'm going to eat these mashed potatoes with gravy on it in the spirit. And I'm going to make sure you see the steam, the heat coming off of this sandwich. Okay? I wanted to put that out there real quick. But what's going on out there? All right. Let's go to another call real quick. I got a lot of announcements to make.
All right. Let me see what mode we're in right here.
Okay, someone asking the call-in number. Give it to him real quick, Elder Rawchaa.
Yep, the call-in number.
Matter of fact, I can put it right here. I hope I can.
Yep, while you're pacing, I'll just announce it again. The call-in number is 605-313-5111. The access code is 539688.
Access is what?
539688.
539688. Now, let's make it clear because I don't want anyone to get it twisted to think that we're saying it's okay to break the Sabbath.
Right.
It's okay to exercise grace on the Sabbath if you're doing good. Okay, if you're doing good and you're not doing wrong by nobody, you can exercise grace on the Sabbath. Okay. All right. Let's pull another call if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The next one is what? The 910 area code.
All right, 910, last four digits, 4571. You're live on blog, or you're live with the Gathering of Christ Church.
You're live with the Gathering of Christ Church, live on YouTube, as long as we're allowed to be here. You're live. Shalom, you're live. Okay, we're going to go to the next call. 7666. 7 beast mode at the end of the 7. 7666. You're live. You're live. And don't change your phone number because I said that. You're live with the Gathering of Christ Church on YouTube. You're live. Don't change your You're live. Okay. Hello?
Shalom.
Shalom, you're live. Talk to us. What's going on?
Shalom.
All right. Are you just listening? Do you have a question, comment?
Hey, I just want to call him a vet. You know, it's been real kind of frustrating. I had a little statement, you know.
Go ahead, bring it.
It just, you know, walking in the truth. And, you know, Rawchaa, you made a point. You made a point not long ago, you know, in the well-to-do areas, you know, white people are running, fighting, doing physical activity. So I went, paid my mother a visit. She lives in, you know, Canada.
Okay.
Down there. And I went to get my hair braided in the hood. And I'm sitting back, you know, observing our people in it's like a shot house. Looking at our people like drunken state. And I look, it's like 5, 6 o'clock, you know. It's just good to be connected, you know, to watch the news, see what's going on in the world. They got the Hot Boys on, right? It's an old, early 2000s, like Master P, like nonsense. And just watching that. I'm like,
The Hot Boys,
It just really daunting that most of us are really going to be destroyed. Most of us ain't. So it is good, man, that the Tabernacles is coming up.
Oh, yeah, we're about to talk about it soon.
With you brothers and elders and I'm looking forward to it.
What area are you in? What area you live in?
Yeah, I'm in the DC area, but I'm in North Carolina right now.
Okay, well, no problem. You'll see me. I'll be over there. I'll be over there a few days during Tabernacles this weekend. All right. Okay. Let me place you on hold. Yeah, what's going on? I'm gonna tell you. Let me put this down real quick. A lot of people are frustrated right now.
Yeah.
Right? And we're living in a time of frustration. I'm going to put that all the way down real quick while that comes in because you can hear it. There are a lot of people frustrated right now. Why? Because we're living in a time, and I told Lawya to get the scriptures earlier, in which it tells us in 2 Baruch that confusion is really the impetus, the height, really of end time prophecy before the coming of Christ. Keep in mind that confusion is a spirit in itself, and I'm glad the brother, and frustration is part of it. And I was thinking earlier, right? I'm like, you know what? We know that confusion is the prophecies that was prophesied in 2nd Book, the 29th chapter. And it would leave out of its place, and then something else would come in. And then confusion would come back to the point where the majority of the people on earth would do what? Become frustrated, fed up, tired. And most of it comes from, believe it or not, and I'm going to say it, it comes from having access to the programming continually. That's number one. So how do we get ourselves rooted? We found out that you can't deal with meditation. Meditation is a form of demonology. And the brother actually sent me some information on that, about how they began to promote during the time of the 2000s amongst our people, the Buddhist meditations, as a result of the confusion that would eventually become the norm. And now everybody and their mother are meditating, not realizing that you're actually opening yourself, channeling yourself for more demons and confusion. So it's best to go back to a place of familiarity. Familiarity, right? The things we are familiar with. To find that calm space, right? And I'm saying that is because the confusion started when we no longer, as a people or as an individual, when we no longer had a routine. Think about it. We didn't deal with this as children. But as children, we had routine. And Christ said, I suffer the children to come unto me. Unless you're like one of these children, you shall no wise enter into the kingdom of heaven. When you think about the happiest times in your life, it was as a child. But one thing, as a child, you had discipline. You knew what not to do. You knew right from wrong, and it kept a level of purity. Folks, we got older, but that child is still in us. So to combat the confusion, and I sat there and thought to myself the other day, because we were shooting a video, we were working on a video, and while we were out where the grass and stuff is, near the water, to do the video, the brothers they were over there getting the cameras together and all that. And I sat there and listened to those birds and next to that water, and it all came to me. When Christ says, unless you be like one of these children, you should not enter into the kingdom of heaven. And say, listen, to overcome this confusion, we must go back to that point before the indoctrination. And it happened once we left school, folks. Once we left school, confusion began. We thought it was freedom. Now I'm free to grow up. And we lost ourselves. One thing about school, if you think about it, at that time you were your fittest. You was in the best shape. Why? Because part of your regimen in school, from kindergarten all the way to graduation, was gym. So by default, we had to keep our body in some similitude of shape because it was part of the curriculum. That became a discipline, folks. And you notice we were in our top shape without paying any money because we had gym. We had a roster for school to know exactly what classes to go to. Right? This is where we learn how to interact socially. Think about it. You had friends you trusted who had your best interest at heart. And that was just on the social side. Then think about it on the spiritual side. Even though church is pagan, we still had that spiritual barometer on Sundays and a connection with God. And through that, what was being exalted, what we seen as children as the best times of our lives were our parents, our family together, all the people we loved together, which kept us grounded. It wasn't until we graduated that we begin to lose that discipline and who we were. We began to let our bodies go, not realizing that part of our health and part of our fitness was tied to the everyday curricula in school. We began to let ourselves go. We began to party and do all the things that was no. Just about 2-3 years ago, everything you're doing now was no.
Mm-hmm.
It was no. So to get over the confusion, we have to go back to the point of calm when you had some control over your temple and become that little child again. Not the cares of this world and the worries that comes with it. This is a way that, like, when you're like this, now you can weigh and prioritize what comes in your space. Because now you're back to that little child. And one thing that was good about children, Elder Lawya, that children were honest too.
Mm-hmm.
If you were getting in the way of their play or their space, get out of my face. If people try to jump, they jump and rope, and somebody try to get in, they would all get out of here. Children were brutally honest to say, get out of my face. I want peace. It's time for us to be like those little children. That child is still in us, and it's being suppressed by the cares of this world, by the worries that come with this world. And that's where the confusion lies.
Mm-hmm.
Find who you were at your most peaceful moment. The Most High was with you at that moment. Some other things I wanted to drop, but go ahead. You can answer the next call.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just to touch on that a bit,
Yeah.
going back to the meditation, understanding that they know that this is a time of great confusion, a great loss of understanding and the lack of knowledge of what's going on in the earth. So as an alternative, or basically what they're doing is they're offering all of these spiritual alternatives, like yoga, like meditation, and all these different things they offer as some type of form of, as an alternative to the confusion that's taking place in the earth. Now, on the surface, these things seem like viable options or viable alternatives to the madness you see in the world. You see the images of someone in a room with incense and the legs crossed, and they're sitting there and they're chanting, and you think that this is peaceful in comparison or in contrast to the madness that's going on around you. When in reality, all you're doing is you're contributing to the madness that's culminated within you, and you're opening yourself to demons. You're channeling demons. You're channeling spirits. Okay. Now, in the old world, they understood exactly what these practices were. The word itself, yoga, when you look at the word yoga, it means to yoke. That's the literal meaning of the word. The question is, what are you yoking yourself to? You're yoking yourself to the demonic spirits that come with those particular practices, those exercises. And you notice that when those things came over to the Western world, primarily, I want to say maybe around the 70s, they started really through the Beatles and a lot of these different entertainers and so-called health gurus. They started introducing the yoga and the chanting and the meditation as an alternative to religion, primarily Christianity, so on and so forth. And ever since that time, they've been kind of pushing it with I guess you would say, more of a fit for TV type of veneer, or a fit for TV package to where people can actually receive it. When in reality, in the old world, they know exactly what these practices are and what they are, the purpose of these practices, which is channeling spirits. The ultimate goal for yoga, meditation, chanting, so on and so forth, is to conjure what they call the serpent spirit, or the kundalini. That's what it's about. But they package it for us in this part of the world as exercise and getting in touch with your peaceful side and you know, all these different things they use to try to sell it to the people in this part of the world. But getting back to the point, because of the confusion that's taking place, they know the confusion is taking place and therefore are offering these false alternatives, which in reality, if you have the knowledge of who you are, and this is the importance of us identifying ourselves and identifying our culture. A people without a culture are susceptible to anything that's offered as an alternative. When in reality, the Bible gives us the one true way on how to eliminate the confusion, which is a lot of the things you just mentioned. And one last thing, because a lot of people may be confused, because the Bible mentions meditate and meditating upon the word, so on and so forth. When the Bible speaks of meditation, it's simply speaking about thinking upon something or considering, okay? To really think upon something. That's all it means.
It's thinking. The pagan way of praying is channeling a spirit for answers. You notice that when people do that crap under the Buddhist religion, they sit with their legs folded like one of the ancient Babylonian gods or Asian gods. And they have their fingers and all that in the same particular forms as the gods of the statues they have worshipped.
Exactly.
So they're actually channeling that spirit for information. We don't need that garbage. We don't need what the Gentiles and the lower gods, the Gentiles seek for information. We got the God of all gods, folks. They simple, super simple, sitting there looking like a statue and sitting there with all this crap. We don't have to do that. We go into our closet and just talk to our God. We just think. Our meditation ain't no ringing old bell and all this old crap. We have, let me tell you, we have instant access to the Most High through His Son. And it's because we're seeking after the ways of the Gentiles. We think they have the answers. And you know, they don't know their head from a hole in the ground. You seen the Gentiles lately? Have you seen what the state of the Gentiles? Come on now. Come back to the God of Israel. But go ahead, Elder Lord.
Yes, sir. I'm going to read this real quick. Matthew chapter 6, verse 5. And when thou prayest, thou shalt not be as the hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and in the corners of the streets, that they may be seen of men. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward. So you see this also with those who deal in these different type of meditative prayers and all this stuff. Islam, they'll bust out a rug in the middle of the street and start praying and bowing and busting their head on the ground and claiming they're getting close to the God. But in reality, this is an exact contrast to what the Bible and what Christ commanded us when it came to prayer. It says here, but thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to the Father which is in secret, and thy Father which is in secret shall reward thee openly. But when thou pray, use not vain repetitions. That's another thing you got to be careful with. Rosary beads and all these different instruments that people use and consistently chanting. And when you see those things, understand you're dealing with channeling.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly. It's simple. It's ridiculous. Let me tell you, folks, what works for the Gentiles will never work for us. There's only one way as a people we can find real resolve. And that's through this Bible and the truth of it. Not through your religion. It's through who? It's through the Most High, the God of Israel. So the first state when it comes to getting out of this confusion is finding our God. The Arabs know their God. They call their God Allah. See? The Romans know their God. They call him Jesus or Jesus. Now, we use the word Jesus not to be what? Not to be a barbarian to those who don't know the Hebrew. But his name is Yeshua in the Hebrew. The Romans worship Jupiter, Zeus. And if you know anything about history, the Roman Catholic Church, once our people, the black Jews, the Israelites, fell in 70 AD, they put a statue of Jupiter in the temple and called him Peter, which was really the worship of Zeus. Over what? The new Christianity. And that's why they call on Jesus, and that's why they call on Jesus or Zeus. The Most High have awakened the teachers who would do what? Begin to speak the truth of this Bible. Not to have you follow me or follow man, but to come back to the God of our forefathers. That let me tell you, folks, it's the only resolve for black people. The Bible is your answer.
That's right.
But it's not through your religion. Your religion has been running interference. Get these guys out of the way, man. Because why? These people that are over these churches make plain excuse for sin. They try to walk on eggshells. Well, I got to be careful. You can't say nothing about the letter people, or you can't say nothing about that, or, you know, we all are under sin. And there's no righteous judgment. And because of that, the children growing up in the church now doesn't know right from wrong. But I digress. We're going into right now talking. I know, man, we well past. But it's okay, but we started late, so we're gonna go a little bit because there's a few announcements I would like to make. You can give the number again. It's 605-313-5111, and the access code is 539688. I'm gonna make a few announcements. Okay. The number one announcement I wanted to make right now is the fact that our Hebrew and Bible Academy will start this Sunday. We're going into the creation of the universe, and we're going to go into what's going on in the stars, the spheres beyond this firmament. Why were the Gentiles worshiping planets like Mars, Jupiter, Venus, which are nothing more than Greek gods? Why do they call these stars planets? Well, I'm going to be going into that with the creation of the universe and teach all of us, everyone, everywhere, out of the Bible, the creation. How was this sphere we live on created? This coming Sunday. You don't want to miss it. Okay, you don't want to miss it. If you want to be a part of it, please send an email to gatheringas1, the number 1 at AOL.com, or go to historytimes.org or gatheringofchrist.org and enroll right there so that you can receive your welcome packet. Get right in. We have the administration working around the clock so that you can be in for Sunday and get the information. Keep in mind, and you have, because I see there's a lot of people out there with their opinion on what they claim we teach.
Right.
Come on. Yeah. Oh, they try to say that the Holy Spirit is female and that and the other. Listen. If you say it on the surface without breaking things down, it's disingenuous.
Exactly.
You're not going into the scriptures showing the scriptures we showed to show that the things that we see or the invisible is clearly seen by the things that are made, which is his eternal power or Godhead. And what did he make in the beginning? Male and female made he them. Okay? So where did female come from if it wasn't a part of the Godhead in the beginning? That's simple as the days old. Instead of going into the scriptures and breaking down what we show, how the female had a place in the beginning, they try to do what? play on the ignorance of those who haven't got to the information yet, to say that we're coming with some false thing like worshiping Mary or something.
Right.
Liars and deceivers.
Right.
No one ever said in our church to worship the Rawchaa or a female spirit. But that's the condemnation. That's the spirit they would like to put out there for the unlearned.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's, and we're going to say it again. The Rawchaa is a feminine spirit, because when the Most High in the beginning said, let us make man in our image, male and female made he them. What does the scripture say? That family is male and female. That's where people, that's where the universe, that's where we all come from.
Right.
Even earth teaches us that the Most High made male and female for life. Common sense. Two males, last we checked, cannot bring forth offspring. And that's being in the spiritual realm, leading into the physical realm. And let me make it clear. After the earth was created, there was no more need for creation. So there's no angels anywhere in heaven making babies. Okay? See, I had to edify, because you have people out there misrepresenting who never had the understanding anyway. And the Bible will tell you that they will come in to spy out our liberty, to put us in bondage. You have people who claim they were with us, but they were really sent. They were really sent to circumvent us. But you know what? I have no problem with that. That's between them and our God. Hey, come on in. There's nothing to see here, buddy, but a Bible. Okay? There's nothing to see here. The only thing you're going to see coming around the Gathering of Christ Church is people who are going to love you like family. That's what you're going to see. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get the next call.
Yep. Moving on to our next call, we have, we have 443, last four digits, 4228.
4228, yes.
You're live with the Gathering of Christ Church.
443. Okay, we have 3566. 3566. You're live with the Gathering of Christ Church.
Oh, yeah, 3565.
Shalom, elders.
Shalom, brother. Talk to us.
Shalom. Hello.
Talk to us, brothers. We're here.
Shalom, elders. All praises unto the Most High finally got through. I've been trying to get in contact with the elders this week, but to no avail. Could you please contact me after the broadcast? It is very urgent.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. You can hear us now, right? Can you hear us now?
Two questions I have, both related to Gentiles.
Okay.
I have for you on the topic of confusion and frustration. As of recent, brothers and sisters within our church have been teaching that Ruth was an Israelite and claiming this was the direction the elders were going to. Is this at all the case? And number two, brothers and sisters have expressed that Gentiles are to serve within the kingdom, and because of that they should serve us now. Is this true?
One second, brother.
Yep, that's good.
That's good, right?
Yep.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me, brother?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
no, I cannot. I'm just listening through the YouTube.
Okay, yeah, there's something going on here through this thing where they're not hearing us through this audio.
Mm.
Okay, one moment. Let me see what I can do here to make this work.
Try going back to more.
More?
Yeah, we must have probably changed something earlier.
Okay.
Preferences,
One moment.
audio.
Okay, same as system.
All right.
All right.
Oh,
it should
I can
be
hear
here.
you guys now.
You can hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. That's
Yes,
it.
sir.
That's it. We good. All right. So ask your questions again.
Yes, sir. I've been trying to get in contact with the elders this week.
No.
but no avail.
Hey,
I'm just-
brother, just give me the questions now.
Yes, sir. On the topic of confusion and frustration, as of recent, brothers and sisters within our church have been teaching that Ruth was an Israelite.
Okay,
And claiming this was
where have you received this teaching? Talk to me about it.
within the church, the Gathering of Christ
When
Church.
you say within the church
Yes,
is
sir.
all over the earth. Is there? Give us geography.
Toronto.
Okay, in Toronto, in Canada, they've been teaching that Ruth was definitively an Israelite.
This was actually just expressed by a sister during an open forum, and that teaching that she was a Moabite was a false doctrine.
Okay, well, I don't know anything about a sister that's supposed to be in an open forum teaching anything. So we got bigger issues than Ruth being a Moabite, don't we?
Gone.
Okay. So if you're asking me to answer to something that's already confusion over there, I can't. I'll have to have a meeting with Toronto and find out what's going on there. But what I can,
Yes, sir.
but this is what I can say. Elder Gabar and I are going over the research for Ruth. Okay? We know that Christ's lineage is through Judah, and that through the fathers, Christ was an Israelite. But there's nothing definitively outside of geography or what you would call process of eliminations that say for certain that Ruth was an Israelite. There's no father or mother we can pull from to say definitively that she wasn't a Moabite. Okay? But when you look at the Judah bloodline, Christ is a Judite through the father. Now, through process of eliminations, what people do, okay, and I've seen it done, and we've also done things for geography's sake to say, well, listen, when you look in this area, Israelites lived in that area. But that still doesn't give a distinction of whether or not those people brought forth Ruth.
Right.
So this is another point of study our church is now under. But what we do know for sure, and this is where it lies, is that Christ is from the tribe of Judah. And that should be the focus. And if it is found through our study, because let me tell you, and I know other people are going to look at this video and try to parse it and say that let me prove that Ruth was an Israelite. And they're going to, and let me tell you, don't waste your time going through a billion scriptures showing the geography of where she lived and all that, and that showed Israelites go there, because I know where all those scriptures are. I've taught that. That's just given process of eliminations based on geography. But it's not saying distinctly that Ruth wasn't a Moabite. So I don't care how many scriptures you pile up to show geography of Israelites going into an area. I can show you where Israelites went into different parts of Canaan and different parts of different areas outside of Israel. It doesn't mean that a specific seed in that area belongs to all Israel. Okay, that's shoddy scholarship at best. So what I'm saying to you, brother, is right now you should focus on Christ being from Judah, like the Bible says, and that can be proven, until we do this further research on Ruth. Okay?
Yes, sir.
And once we bring it out, we're going to bring it out. And if she is a Moabite and we find she is, we're going to teach that. But until then, no one can definitively, and you can ask them, show me the scriptures where it show you that, and this is the question you must ask, brother. Show me the scripture where it shows Ruth, mother and father. in their lineage. Give me that.
Con.
See, and right at that point, you'll be able to hear a church mouse pee on cotton. It'll be totally silent at that point. You know why? Because it can't be proven.
Yes, sir.
It can't be proven that way. So unless you're going to bring it forth and bring forth your strong reasoning through fact, you must stick with the information you know. Keep in mind, even through all the information the Most High has given us, we can only see through a glass dimly. You have to be satisfied with what the Most High give you until more is revealed. You just can't make something up for convenience because you are an Israelite. You can't do that. Okay? What's the other question?
The other question was, it was expressed that Gentiles are to serve within the kingdom, and because of that they should serve Israel now.
I'll tell you what.
Is this the case?
I'll tell you what. The person who said, who said that?
This was, again, during the open forum.
It was, who said that though? Was it the same sister?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because if anything, she should be in the church serving. We got chicken, we got rice, we got beans. Maybe we need to put her in a serving position to start serving something up in there. Let me tell you, the greatest, when I say that, I'm saying including myself. The greatest amongst you shall be your servant.
Right.
Yes, sir.
If anything, she's going to be sitting down. Okay, that's what she's going to be doing. And listening and learning. Ain't nobody serving her behind. Hey, we in captivity talking about somebody serving you.
Right.
We don't play those games. I don't know what group she learned under, where she coming from, but listen, she got the wrong church. Christ will set up servants. Not no
sir.
sister running off at the trap. Christ will set up the servants, not no out of order sister. Okay? So don't worry about it. We're going to straighten that out, brother. It's somebody that just is looking for some attention over there. We'll straighten that out.
Thank you so much.
All right. No, bro. Don't worry about it. Lord, man, what's going on over in Toronto? Don't worry about it. We're going to straighten this out. Let me put this out. Lord.
Yes, sir. We need intervention.
Intervention is coming, brother. You best believe that. And it's starting
Yes,
almost
sir.
immediately. A phone call will be had. We're going to know. And guess what? We ain't going to put the sister on blast. We're going to talk to a person and say, sister, it's time for total silence for a long time as far as you and the congregation speaking about what the kingdom will be.
Right.
Okay, that's not
Yes, sir.
That's not her position. Now she can talk all she want about regular conversation and all that, and being a sister, and being under order in obedience with the authority of the church, and being in obedience as a obedient woman, being submissive to her husband if she got one. You can do all the talking you want in those areas, but you ain't gonna be just flying off. With your mouth, teaching some things that not ought to be taught. Christ didn't teach that. So don't worry about it. Someone I don't know, she's been looking at too many YouTube videos or something of these other characters. All right, brother, don't worry. We'll straighten it out. Get that together, boy.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you so much, elders.
Don't worry about it.
Shalom. Blessings and peace.
We'll straighten it out. Don't worry about it.
Thank you.
Open forum. I didn't know we set up open forums in the church.
I don't know. I mean, we have to, we have to look into that situation. Yeah, we have to look into that. Sometimes people may do question and answer, so on and so forth. That may be what he's referring to, but we have to do further research into that.
But we don't allow someone to stand up.
Exactly.
And spat out some straight madness
without it going unchecked.
Yeah, without it going unchecked.
Right.
It's like, what are you talking about? And another thing, folks, in any location, because you want to know, some people just walk up in there and begin to talk. You don't even know where these people come from. If you haven't heard it from us, then it's probably some garbage. if it's within the four walls of our church.
Right.
There's nothing that we're going to say in private between our churches that people won't hear public. Okay? So usually if you have to ask a question about it, it's suspect.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What's next?
And like you said, if you never heard us, or those who have labored amongst us have never seen us exhibit, some behavior where we're looking for people to try to serve us because they're of another nation.
Oh my goodness! Did you see that?
That doesn't make any sense.
Hold up, man. Hold up. Is that Japheth over there? Man, I'm sure feeling like some egg fried rice. And who that's over there? Who you got over there? That's Esau, man. Maybe he can make me some pizza. Simple as the day's old.
And we went into this. You went into this a few Sabbaths ago. The parable of the prodigal son, who possessed everything of his father. He had all the was an heir of his father's work. But because he spent his money, he went out, which is a parable for us as a nation.
Yeah.
He lost that, and he said, "Listen, the servants in my father's house eat better than I do. Let me return to my father's house and not try to take the place of a son, but of a servant."
So, but here's the question, though, when it comes down to it.
Mm-hmm.
How can you say who's going to serve when you don't even know if you're going to make it?
Exactly, and that's the point. Exactly.
Search out your own soul salvation with fear and trembling. So you have actually come into the work or this knowledge for servants?
Mm-hmm.
You've missed the boat. You've been listening to the wrong videos out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because the majority of people that are out there saying they're going to have servants aren't going to make it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
If you deny the baptism of Christ, and this is Christ's words, you shall in no wise enter into my kingdom. So how can they say what's going to happen to the Gentiles when they're not going to make it?
Mm-hmm.
It's just somebody just got a new Samsung iPhone and with some info, and looked at a video and thought that they would expound madness, some type of biblical prowess, and it's their way of lashing out at people around them. And these be the same people, and they're here to the people in the church, be it Jew or Gentile, going to treat you like a brother or sister. I know. But yet you'll go at your job, the same Gentile that you say you're serving. Yes, boss, what time should I be in?
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming in early.
Mm-hmm.
You're the servant.
Mm-hmm.
You're not telling that your boss, yeah, you're going to serve me in the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll come around brothers and sisters who would serve you anyway.
Exactly.
You don't even have to say Gentiles will serve you. If you're in this church, we're going to serve each other.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about it. We'll straighten that out, brother. What's next? Let's bring in the next one.
All right, over here.
Yeah.
All right, we got 228, last four digits, 35 instead of 5. 3.
Yep, that's 366. 3566. Didn't we just bring that in?
We just did the 4.
Okay, shalom.
Okay, I see.
You're with us?
I see. We did just bring that in. 917, last four digits, 1879.
1879, last four digits. Shalom.
Shalom, elders. How you doing?
I'm blessed by the best. Can you hear us clearly?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, great. All right, come on. You're on.
So, first of all, let me just put in a little plug for the Hebrew Bible Academy. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Okay.
And honestly, I've said this before in the academy, and I'll say it again. I think that somebody should offer you guys a Nobel Peace Prize for the truth that you have been putting into the Bible, to the Hebrew Bible Academy. You guys have consistently expounded, like every academy, it gets better. And I don't understand how that's even possible, but it really gets better.
All praises be to the Most High.
Yeah,
hey, sister, people gonna believe that this was a seed call that we had you to just come in and just compliment the academy. But go on.
Well, let me just say this. I'm speaking this because of the fact is that I do hear the Blog Talk Radio on Wednesdays, And some of us brothers and sisters, we ask questions, and also too, I'm from the New York body. So some of the questions that I even hear our own brothers and sisters ask, or we talk about, they answer this stuff in the academy. So I'm just saying that I think that maybe it'll help for somebody who does go to the academy. That I think that people should really take it upon themselves to enroll. So this is not a plug. I'm not being paid by the Gathering of Christ Church. This is just my opinion. Because honestly, I'm going back in the next academy, of course. But if I go through one more academy, I really think that you guys are gonna make me get so upset, because I'm already starting to get there, being that I've been in the Christian church for so long, that I'm gonna feel like suing my old church for just total lies and garbage that they've just been teaching to us for the past 30 plus years of my life.
Well,
Because it's that deep.
Yeah, Sister A. I went through that phase after leaving the Christian church, but then I realized, there's some good people in there, and it's just the gatekeepers in the way. But the Most High he's doing his job, and he's scattering the sheep. Unless they're bringing truth, and the truth cannot be that there's black people in the Bible. We don't want to hear that garbage. We are the Bible. We are the people. We are the prophets. We are the children of Israel. I don't want to hear that crap about some Ethiopian that married Moses.
Right.
You can take that up the street. But go on.
Yeah, and then, but also to talk about what's going on. Two quick things. So as you guys already know that New York now has instituted the law that we have to start vaccinating our children in order for us to go to school. And I'm very proud of a lot of our brothers and sisters who are in the body, who are taking it upon themselves to pull their children out and homeschooling their children, or going other routes to not go through the mandation of the vaccination. And it's just making me think, and I don't have children yet, but most I will, and hopefully soon. But if we're faced with that, can I have that same faith and that same substance that the brothers and sisters have in our congregation? So, that really is going on. And the second thing, too, the truth is definitely awakening to all of us, as far as whether you believe that you are a children of Israel or not. But also, too, I'm starting to look at it from the entertainment perspective, because we already know that there's a bunch of garbage on TV, and they try to inundate us with all of that. But people are really focusing on, for the past few weeks, Jay-Z intermingling with the NFL, and they're upset. And then I'm like, I don't think that people understand just how much he's actually pissed off the Jewish powers that be. Again, one of the things that you guys talked about in the academy, that, when he made a song about just one line stating that, we should, blacks should be like the Jews and whatnot, and he got in trouble for that. But, they probably said, you know what, you pissing us off, so you're going to have to do this, or we're going to cut you and your family off, and even make your wife look bad. And bring her down.
Oh, that was loud. Let me get that out of here. Yeah, turn it off. Just turn it off, yeah. But go on. I'm listening, sister. I'm sorry. Oh, man, that jumped out of nowhere.
So,
I mean, you know what? I just hope, let me tell you, and it's a shame because, sister, on what you're saying, I believe a lot of these stars are coming into an enlightening moment right now, in which they're beginning to weigh some of their decisions coming up during their youth, and are looking to try to make amends as much as they can in that position. I really, really do. Immediately, it comes a time eventually, especially with our people, that we come to a time in which we think about the legacy that we would like to leave for ourselves. And when you start getting up there in the 40s and 50s, those things come into play. And I believe right now, that's the moment that a lot of people are going through, like P. Diddy, like Beyonce, like Jay-Z. And I'm gonna tell you, I don't know what's in their heart. I don't agree with their upbringing, but as far as how they got put on. But all in all, overall, you get a time in which you really start understanding your mortality and you think about the legacy that'll be left for you. And I'll tell you this, sister. Lately, for the last 5 years, Beyonce has been on this black thing. And even though, I'm also, to play the game during the end of the Obama administration, she began to do the transgender and all that, and she was accepted. And when she had a transgender dance in one of her videos, let me tell you, there wasn't an award Beyonce couldn't win. But what I'm checking out, just since you're bringing out what's going on, the Coachella is one of the most, I would say, renowned platforms from a world perspective that we know today that recognize one's artistic value long term, and it's called Coachella. And it's come to find out that Beyonce had a great choreography thing going on. I think a documentary she put out on Netflix through Coachella, whatever the case is. All black people showing our spirit in the bands and us and our natural talent. And it was just all of us. And I think they gave one of her awards to Seinfeld driving in a taxi cab. But the whole thing is they're growing a conscience, and they're trying to really promote our righteous contribution to not just to America. We, believe it or not, we have affected the whole world, and she's looking to promote that with this all black cast at Coachella. And you know what? They pulled the rug from under. Didn't give her all these nominations, and didn't give her one award. Obviously, she's on her way down. But it's a shame that we usually grow a conscience, not at what you would call coming up in the industry. We usually grow a conscience on our way down. And that's the tough part about it, because the powers that be already have a plan for your fall. They already have a plan on how you're going down. You're not going down on your own terms.
And they're already cultivating the replacement.
And they already have moved the replacement in, someone they can use that's impressionable to finish the agenda they began with you. And it's a shame. You understand? And I don't know where this thing is going to go with Jay-Z and Beyonce, but if history have taught us anything, hey, you want to know how much power we have? Check out R. Kelly right now. Check out R. Kelly and check out Kevin Spacey, but I digress.
Hi. Yeah.
They'll always have us. The most powerful man who have ever been born on the planet. They'll always shame us with the purple walk and the orange suit. That's how R. Kelly will be remembered. Thank you for bringing it out. Good point, sister. And hey, we're glad to have you a part of this work, and thank you for being a part of the Hebrew and Bible Academy. And sister, wait to what you hear this weekend with us going into the planets, or what they call the planets, what it really is. We're going to go into that this coming Sunday. You don't want to miss it.
All right? I won't.
Shalom, sister. All right. How do you put it? Right here?
Just click on the microphone.
The microphone. Where is it? Oh, right here.
Yep.
Okay, great. And yeah, and for those who would like to be a part of the Hebrew and Bible Academy, just send us an email. Gathering as one, the number 1 at AOL.com. Go to historytimes.org or gatheringofchrist.org to be a part of it. Okay. All right. Let's see here. I have Brother Mike. Where is he? Maestro from Houston, who told me something is going on over in Houston right now. See what's.
Hey, Shalom, man.
Shalom, brother. Let me put you on the speaker because you say something is going on over in Houston right now.
at the moment, we had a storm earlier. It was another flood. It was pretty bad. I know the backside of my neighborhood got flooded. They declared some type of what was it, city emergency or disaster emergency. But it's nothing happening right now. Like, I know it's supposed to be another storm hitting and whatnot, but it's nothing happening right now. So I know I drove past the street that was barricaded and stuff, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they're trying to do right now. Though.
Okay, you said there was a few floods in Florida a few days ago in your area?
No, today. There was floods in a lot of areas today.
Okay, so y'all okay, right?
Yeah. We pretty good. We pretty much know how to deal with it after Harvey. So we already got things in place. We already got a protocol set. If we got to open the church up, let people in. If people got to open their houses up to let other people in. So we pretty much, we're ready for it.
Okay. All right, brothers, just checking in. We finding out what's going on around the earth. And you know this is a time of trumpet. So usually during the time of trumpets, during that 7th month, a lot is going on in the earth leading to the coming of Christ. And brothers, when we see these things, when you think of water, that reminds us of what? The days of Noah, the flood.
Right.
It's a constant reminder.
Yep.
It's a constant reminder of the times we're living in. Thank you, Mike. I just want to give an update there. I mean, you see what's happening in the Bahamas. You see what's going on over there with all these tropic storms, and they're hitting. Who's this affecting more so? The children of Israel. Our people throughout the earth is going through a purge right now. The Most High is allowing these things to happen as a form of amendment to get us back, to get us back on course under His protection. Thank you, brother, for giving me that information. And if anything happened, you let me know, okay?
All right. Shalom, elders.
All right, shalom. Brother. And get ready, brother. This project is going to be great. We're going to be able to break down some serious doors with this music that's coming. So, all right?
Oh, yeah, God.
I'll call you in a moment. Shalom.
All right, shalom.
All right, that's Brother Mike. They told me it was some tropical storms going over there in Houston. And I just wanted to give an update, finding out what's going on around the earth. I had your rock send me something. We just went over the fact that now they have documentaries and out there. When you put Israelites on YouTube or Google, they've now changed all the algorithms so you'll get all the ridiculous information, the controlled information, to try to make us believe that they're really concerned about finding the children of Israel. We're here. The Negroes in America are the true Jews. We're here. All right. Also, one last thing, and we'll soon digress. There's one other thing I wanted to pull out here. Let's see here. Let's get rid of that. Also, this weekend is Tabernacle, the Feast of Tabernacles, where we dwell in booths. Starting this weekend, this Saturday, we'll have a feast. I'll be there amongst the congregation. And then I have to set up Sunday for the Hebrew and Bible Academy. If the internet is right, I'll try to, who knows, I may do it from that area. I'm not sure, but it's best to do those types of teachings from controlled environments. I don't want that first week in which there's issues and technical issues. And next thing you know, our people are sending us emails saying how we got them all ready and through these technical issues. So, but anyway, to forego that, I'll make sure I'm back into this controlled environment this Sunday. But it's the Feast of Tabernacles nonetheless. I want to make sure you brothers and sisters who are camping out, okay, be careful driving back and forth. Do not drive tired. Make sure that when you're out there camping or you're amongst your brothers and sisters, you're watching your children and that they're under your guidance. Do not trust the guidance of others when it comes to your children. We're still family, but we are responsible as parents for our own. We have to make sure we keep an eye on those teenagers, okay, who may be going into tents, you know, who knows what they're playing. And you know, when I was growing up, those games we were playing growing up in North Philly, we're not going to have those games being played at our tabernacles. So watch your children and keep a keen eye on those teenagers. Okay, and just make sure you have a safe trip, and understand that this is a time to reflect and deal and understand the times we're in, to gather together as Israel, as God's people, Jews and Gentiles alike, to join together, to be together, to sing together, to build together as a family for a week, okay? To bond like we will do soon in the wilderness, knowing the war is on the horizon. And speaking of the war, while everyone was talking about Cardi B or whatever the case is this coming week. All right. Come to find out, there's in international news that Saudi Arabia are claiming that they were struck, that an oil tanker was struck by Iran, and now America, and we know America is synonymous for Israel. It's Israel and AIPAC controlling all the laws of America. It's been a long time since Americans were in charge of any laws within the United States, folks. Keep that in mind. American legislation is controlled through AIPAC, the state of Israel. So you will hear about America, you'll hear about England, but you'll seldom hear Israel's role in these propagandized news pieces, which will lead to war. Iran has denied any part of what they're claiming, but all in all, it's a false flag, or it could be, I don't know. It's an alleged, or who knows. It could be a false flag that will lead to them striking Iran. Keep your eyes on this. Don't even look at Russia. The Christian right media in the United States, or the Christian, quote unquote, white media in the United States, would have us believe that the greatest threat of America's security is from Russia. Don't listen to that garbage. Okay, that's propaganda. From the international stage, America and Russia is no different than Democrat on the left and Republican on the right. Okay, two wings of the same bird. America and Russia are not at odds. They're both a part of the Roman beast. They're Edom at the helm. What you must look for when you read Isaiah the 13th chapter is the Medes, that country from the north. Iran is the real country prophesied to help end all, leading to the coming of our Lord and Savior, when you read the Bible and understand prophecy. Don't think that Turkey and the Ottomans are and all that. No, the Turkish are Edomites. They're the same family of Amalek. They're Jewish. Don't buy into what they're teaching you in America, folks. Look at that Bible and understand prophecy. Do not listen to the right-wing white teachers such as Hagee, who's a Zionist, and all these others who are just doing a bait and switch to have you look at a prophecy that doesn't exist. Russia is not the prophecy of Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, the 37th chapter. It's not. Iran is the biggest prophecy. Once they go to war with Iran, America as we know it is a wrap. There will be no need for false flags at this time. Everything going on as far as wartime is concerned will be correct, will be true. And this is what you must prepare for. All right, let's go down the line. Let's go through these calls now.
If I could mention on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yesterday, and I think still up until today, they're still, America's still pushing, and I'm not going to go into this too deep because I know Shapat may go into this on the news, and I don't think I can do this any justice like Shapat goes into the news, but I'm going to just mention a few things on this article here. The title is expert on why Saudi Arabia won't explicitly blame Iran for attacks they would be toast. So basically, yesterday I'm hearing it on the news and checking out different articles on YouTube, so on and so forth. And America's basically just openly blaming Iran for the attack. But still, even yesterday, things were still up in the air. There was no solidified proof. They were just drawing conclusions. But now they're saying that Saudi Arabia is not coming out openly and drawing that conclusion that it was Iran. So as you mentioned, they play back and forth. They play these games, and eventually it's all going to come to the same end, regardless, false flag or not. They're still looking for the same destiny, which is the eventual war with Iran.
Yeah. And for those who came in late, I just wanted to mention, like I've mentioned earlier, okay? Don't fall for the false stories the Zionists are propagating against Israelites. Don't fall for it. Okay? They could care less about the black people. Okay? I'm talking about the Zionists, like Vocab Malone and others. They can care less about the black Christians who are now finding out they're Israelites. They don't care about you. They're looking to get in the way because if it's now founded true amongst our people, and you all know it's true now, that we're the true children of Israel, they're more so concerned with the next question that will arise. Well, if the black people are Israelites, who are the people claiming to be Israel? That's why they're trying to come up with all these new terms of black extremists, and now they're trying to pay Israelites attention and censoring Israelites. It's not that they care about the black people, the apologetics. It's if they care about black people in the Christian church. If you cared about the black people in the Christian church, you would have begin to do what? Ostracize and correct the black churches publicly. If you really cared about black people in the Christian church, where's your public reprimand, you so-called apologists, of what's going on in the black churches right now? Where's your reprimand of T.D. Jakes and Creflo Dollar, who James White was behind in a lot of their settings on stage? James White was the theologian behind T.D. Jakes and Creflo Dollar. So don't try to claim that y'all care about black Christians and not rebuke the black church openly. Why are you focusing on Israelites with the mess going on in the black churches right now? So don't try to claim all of a sudden this so-called white Jew apologist cares about black people who's leaving, who are afraid of the black children who may join a cult. You think they care about black children? They care about the fact that we're taking ownership of our true identity. That's what they care about. Okay? And I'm going to tell you, don't buy the lies. You're going to see them come out with more lies to vilify. It's going to come a time soon that you're not going to be able to go online at all and see anything positive concerning Israelites. Not one thing. It's coming. Let's go down the line. Only got a few more. It's 11 o'clock. It's late. Got to get ready for tomorrow. What's the next one?
All right, we have
877.
6877, last four digits.
6877. You're live. Okay, let me turn it up here.
Yes, this is Rawchaa. I'm just calling in for the first time. Hello, Elder Lawya. Hello, Elder Rawchaa. Thanks for having me on. I'm loving that heat you're exuberating there, Elder. We need to really have you down here in Edmonton to, give us some of that heat that you were just giving off there. It's wonderful.
You need us down where?
We're in the Edmonton body. That's just getting on its feet right now from a couple of your deacons in Toronto.
Oh, okay. All right.
I just had a couple points I want to bring out on your podcast. It seems like the prophet said, like they told us, knowledge would go to and fro. these pirates are just running interference on our movement right now because they know it's a hot button topic. They know that they can lure us in with these images they put out on YouTube and, string together some truths that unravel just a web of lies. This documentary Quest for the Lost Tribes by JC, the COINTEL counterintelligence director, Singularity Films, like the Terminator and all that. These are obvious hit pieces on our movement. They're just trying to, do damage control on a topic, do like a backburn, trying to get ahead of this awakening while it's, a ripple before it reaches full wave potential. But the whole doc is just misinformation. They bait you in with this Aboriginal face to take over the dialogue. And, this is why YouTube has been saturated with these mainstream fake news channels while the little man gets silenced. It's a straight brainwashing expose. And, they'll show you a tribe claiming Manasseh from somewhere in Asia, hoisting up some Oriental community with no shade, left in them whatsoever, repping the Star Renfram and Moloch and Judaism as their banner, or, that you don't make it into the club. And then they transitioned to a small group claiming Judaism in Arabian countries. I believe it's Turkey. And I think this is because of an attempt to keep the image of European Ishmaelites at the forefront, at their strongest hunch, while they say more Negroid types of theories are considered fringe, receiving less viewership and time exposure to anybody who's new to the awakening. Even though studies and reviews, show the opposite. It's a routine of disinformation that allows them just a little more time. It's become a northern diaspora versus southern diaspora debate. And it's okay for Israelis to support the genocide of whom they're supposed to believe is their distant relatives in the Middle East. But if a black man claims he's, well documented and hidden heritage, he's a terrorist or conducting himself in malice, or people got to get wise, to the dialect of funneling they're trying to funnel us into. And the second thing, Brother George, it was a real shame watching him up there on the apologist. I was viewing him a bit before I couldn't even handle any more of that mess. I had to pray for him on the Day of Atonement because it seems like in that interview he was unprepared. It seems like he had this demeanor on him. It was like he was left empty with zero answers for these things he used to have answers for. Very disingenuous. It gave him a little sense of condescending Gentile fragility, if I can say, baseless and unprepared. And if the Most High and Christ matter to him more than he believes this church matters to this church that I've been with for the past year, we have, who we've named ourselves after even, it seems like he could have been a little more prepared for that interview. So I just prayed for the brother because, it's going to keep getting views, and I just pray the brother comes back because it would be such a testimony for him. But it seems like, it's a scary place to be outside of your faith with no answers. It slowly chips away at your faith, deteriorating it bit by bit until it's fragile enough that the adversary can creep in.
Well,
white fragility mixed with personality complex, that's really supremacy. It's something that both our people are guilty of. And, I hope that, for the least will be just a mixture that comes out of our people. I'm personally a mixed Levi, but my father is a Gentile, to my comprehension. And even if he was an Israelite, somehow, waxed light-skinned, I prefer to live in a saved Gentile state of mind, because imagine serving a royal banquet and everyone's going to love that man or woman serving them in cheer and joy, just like Yeshua in their spirit. While, they keep in their fancy, feast focusing on which utensil is most etiquette to use for each course, I'll be in the back kitchen letting loose, having a good organic time. So there's really many perks of being a Gentile, and serving for someone with a meek spirit. And it doesn't mean, the way we got to look at it is, imagine you're an old person and you get to wake up every day happy to go to work. So those are just the 2 points I want to say.
Well, I want to say, brother, and I just want to say this, that the only thing I feel for the brother is that what you can lose as within the body, the brotherhood. Because one thing that he can't or no one can say is that while he was amongst the body, that anyone treated him anything less than a brother. And see, and it was just an opportunity so that the devil could exploit his weaknesses. I would never speak publicly or say something negative or wrong about that brother publicly, because the opportunity is going to come through age, because he's pretty young. That I'm sure that spirit that compelled him to the truth, to that water, to want to be a part of the work, that eventually it would sear his conscience. It would sit on him and understand that the reaction he thought would happen from this never materialized. And see, and that's what the Satanist who contacted him didn't bank on. Because usually when he tried to bait these Israelites out there, it's eye for eye, tooth for a tooth. It's now, let's make 100 videos cursing this brother out, calling him the devil, calling him this and calling him that. And he's not going to get that from us. That's our brother that's being used by the devil. Okay? And we're going to always accept that brother. The Bible says, rebuke, and if thou repent, forgive. For the things that brother did wrong, there was correction there. And he had an opportunity, and still have an opportunity, to say, well, okay, I'm wrong. What's the next step? And those doors will always be open, because I never forget, like I said, when I only met the brother personally really one time in my life. He came all the way from Australia and say, I'm so glad to meet you, Elder Rawchaa. You did so much in my life. And I'm like, listen, and my answer to that, like always, all praises be to the Most High, man. I'm just a servant. And guess what? I didn't look at him as any other thing. When he came to Philadelphia for the elders and deacons meeting, for all the people to all come together one time, the initial when I came back to the States, keep in mind, brother, I opened my doors and I cooked for everyone in that house. His father and him had a plate. Who cooked for them? I cooked for them. Every last one of them. Okay? Every last one of those people ate what I served them. Okay? And his father looked at me, and I'm looking at his father, and his father brings me to the side and says, you know what? Elder Rawchaa, I know this is the truth. He says, anything that can change my son around must be the truth, because my son was doing all types of things in the world. He was harming and doing types of things. I'm not going to go into the things that his father said about what he was doing. But he says, he says, we couldn't get this guy to do right in the Christian church or follow the church. So he says, if that can turn my son around, the gathering of Christ Church must be the truth. I never seek him and his father out to join or be a part of what we're doing here. Never. On the other side of the earth, they found our videos and was compelled to be a part of it. And we welcomed them. Okay? And that's where it stands. Why? Because that's the memory I will always have of that brother and his family. I'm not going to remember him being used by the devil. The devil going to do what the devil does. All right? So, I'll leave that there. Let me go to the next call. 5223 area code. Shalom. Shalom, you're live. Let me turn it up here. See him?
That must be just
okay. 3279 next. 3279.
Hello.
Shalom.
Shalom. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, you're live with the Gathering of Christ Church. Talk to us.
Yeah, I'm calling. Hello?
Yes, sister.
Yeah,
Can you
we're,
hear
we're
us?
listening.
Yeah, okay, I can hear you. So all praise to the Most High did. I got through. And basically I just wanted to talk about what's going on with me personally. And basically, like, I've been listening to the church for like 5 years, 4 or 5 years. And basically, like, DCS took my children from me 3 years ago. And
For what?
well, like, my children's fathers and their families teamed up against me and
I'm saying,
used
but
DCS to take
I
the children
understand.
from
I
me.
understand, but it had to be a reason. They couldn't just take the children without cause, right? What did they say was the reason for them taking your children?
They said that I child abused them, but like they didn't prove it.
So then, did they find proof of abuse on your children, or did you go and take the steps needed to prove that it didn't happen to get your children back?
Yes, sir. Yes, I took parenting classes like they told me to do. I already had my own place when they took them and a job, and they just still haven't gave them back. And like to this day, I've been going back and forth to court for 3 years,
And
trying to get my babies.
where's your children? Are they under foster care now? Is the father? Do the grandparents who have the children?
See, what happened was they took my daughter from me and gave her to her dad.
Okay.
And I tried to prove to the courts that he was on drugs and he had a lifestyle of drugs. And they didn't listen to me at first until they ended up drug testing him. I had to go get like paperwork from the police department saying he been dealing with drugs and he got arrested for drugs and stuff
Okay.
like that. I had to bring
Well,
it to the
sister-
court's attention.
Okay, well, sister, let me ask, what would you like us to do?
Well, like, if y'all can help me try to get my babies, I appreciate it. If it is something that y'all could do, I'm really desperate because like I've been trying to get them on my own.
What city and
And
state?
other people.
What city and state you live in, sister?
I live in Tennessee,
Tennessee. Just
and my
write down-
children
just
they
write
in
down.
Memphis.
Don't worry about it. We're gonna write down your phone number, sister.
Let me ask, sister. Let me ask. Were you were there, right, when myself and Elder Gabar visited Tennessee, right?
Yeah, I had came to the church for the first time.
Right, and you did speak with Elder Gabar, right?
Yeah, I spoke with him about my living situation, not so much about the kids, but
Okay.
I
All right.
mean,
Yeah, just write her number down, and what I'll do is I'll just ask Shapat to reach her and see what type of legal recourse she can take. That probably, because right now, no one is going to tell her, what steps she can take to actually get her children back. Really, because they really try to get these children in the system, and once they're in the system, they're done. And this is how, man. Anyway, don't worry about it, sister. I can't promise anything, but what I'll do is I'll pass this over to Shapat. He'll call you and see what type of legal recourse you can take or what steps you can take. Because sometimes what the authorities do or what DHS, they put certain requirements on you to fulfill certain scenarios. Because really,
I know, but I've been doing.
I understand,
I
sister,
did
but
everything they asked me to
I'm
do.
not-
and
I-
they just won't release my.
I understand, sister, but I don't know. But what I'm saying is, once a child is in the system, their hands are tied on what they can do to some degree. They have to make sure all the steps are followed, even though it's red tape, to be free to release your children. So I don't know what it is, but I'll give this to Shapat. He'll contact you, and we'll see what recourse you have, if any at all. And there's nothing.
Yeah, I just want to find out why as well, because I mean, I'm really innocent, and I've been innocent
All
for
right,
3
well-
years trying to get my babies.
Well, sister, I believe you. Let's take the
I
steps
just need a
that's
little
needed.
help.
Okay, I understand. It's a shame our children are ripped from us, but sister, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We have your number. Just stay patient, stay in prayer. We'll put out a prayer for you, and we'll have Shapat reach you to see what can happen. Okay?
I appreciate it.
No problem, sister. You stay strong.
Thank
You're welcome. Okay, going down the line, we can only stay for a little bit. We're well past the time. 407 area code.
Shalom, elders. How are you?
I'm blessed by the best. How are you? His name
I'm
is
good. I'm good. This is Brother Leslie from Orlando.
Okay. Nice to talk to you, brother.
Yes, sir. Great speaking with you and Elder Lawya as well. Just two things real quick. One, I did send an email to your email address in reference to the CD launch. So if you or Elder Lawya could check that and give us a call back, we greatly appreciate it.
Yeah.
Myself and my wife, Lisa. That's the first thing. The second thing is, sir, in reference to the hurricane, because as you know, we're both originally from the Bahamas.
Yeah.
So we have family members who are there in the Bahamas who are in need. Now, we don't want to go outside the Most High's will, but is it okay for us to send, stuff to them personally?
Absolutely. Hey, brother, you don't have to
or
wait.
do we just-
No, you don't have to wait for us to help some people, brother. No.
Okay.
The Most High will is giving you the insight and the wherewithal to help your people. You don't have to ask us for permission to help your people, brother. No way. Yes, by all means.
Whether they're in the truth or not?
Whether they're in the truth or not, brother. Hey, they are people.
Okay.
If there's some people in need, you help them. But make sure you're sending it directly to those people. Those foundations takes the money. Now, if there's people that you can know personally where your money is going to, okay. But don't send to those foundations.
No, sir. We're like, we're from there. I was in law enforcement there, so definitely it would be getting to the people in need that we want to send it to direct.
Definitely, man. You and your wife is a blessing, man. Man, listen, you don't have to ask me. We're gonna help. We're helping as many people we can in the Bahamas. Hey, that's what Christ commanded us to do. So yeah, brother.
Yes, sir.
And I'll be talking with you soon. And yeah, by the way, are you coming to the release? We have in October 13th. You and Lisa, you and your wife.
Well, we wanted to. We went online to purchase the VIPs, but it looks like everything is sold out.
All the VIPs are sold out.
Yes, sir. That's what it's telling us.
Oh my goodness! So I'm gonna see. What about the regular seats? Are they sold?
We didn't check the regular because we were just more interested.
Well,
in
don't
the
worry about it.
VIPs.
Just go purchase the regular ones. I'll try to finagle something for you and your wife. I know you've been supporting the work for a long time. Get what you can before they're gone, and we'll work your way into a better seat if possible.
All right, so all praises.
All right.
Look forward to seeing you guys.
All right, man. I can't wait to see you. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Shalom. Yeah, we have a release party coming October the 13th for the album Purpose. It's an album coming out through myself, the church, called Purpose. And you can find tickets at, you can put it there. You can find tickets, go to gatheredofchrist.org if you would like to attend. We're going to have the carpet out there. I don't think that's it. Yeah. We're going to have the carpet out there, the white and gold carpet, where brothers and sisters can walk on the carpet into a royal festive event. I'm going to present the album at that time. It's in Jersey City. We're also going to have an I Am fashion show. And all the money is going to go towards doing what we do best. Get to our people to spread this word and let them know that the kingdom is at hand and it's time for Israel to rise. So we're going to use the music for exactly that, to promote the work in areas they can't censor.
Mm-hmm.
They can't stop us from singing about love and true brotherhood and connecting with the Most High. They can't stop us from doing that, can they? Right? All right. I know it's here somewhere, but let's see. It's not there. There it is. Music with a Purpose Inspire album. Okay, and it comes out very soon. We already did a video, A Higher Power. We just did another video, just finished it, called After the Fire's Gone, showing what happens as much as we can. We had some people come from overseas for the cinematography, warning our brothers and sisters about the impending war and what it will mean on earth. And subsequent to that, the coming of our Lord and Savior. Well, all of that will be depicted in the video After the Fire is Gone, which will premiere at this particular event, okay, October the 13th. Go to gatheringofchrist.org. You can see it, a music with a purpose. It'll be in Jersey City, and you can purchase the tickets through Eventbrite. Like the brother just mentioned, they're flying off. They're just being sold. So if you're going to get it to be a part of it. And I believe that this work is going to help us spread the truth on the next level. And it will allow us to go into churches and bring music and praise and talk about praising God. And also it will open a door in which we can actually have a serious conversation, with the pastors and the preachers and those in high positions in respect of this truth. I do believe the Most High wants us to use this music and praise to get into those doors, to warn our people and let them know the kingdom is at hand and to prepare for what's to come. So if the Most High give us this, we're going to use whatever talents we have to finish this work. When one door closes, another opens.
Mm-hmm.
One moment, and we only have a few more calls. I'm going to take 2 more calls, and then we'll wish you all Godspeed. What's next here? 2525?
Mm-hmm.
2525. Shalom, you're live with the Gathering of Christ Church. What's going on? Okay. The next is 2420. 2420. What's going on?
Good evening, elders.
Good
so
evening.
I have a question.
There she go.
I think you muted it by mistake.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm unmuted now. Okay, so I had a question about Romans 11. I am dealing with the jealousy that it talks about as far as the other nations being grafted in. I wanted maybe some guidance as far as that, as far as, just the other nations. They get to have a much better life than us. And I just sat and cried earlier today, just, thinking about how they can come in off of the backs of us, how they've been doing for a long time. And it just really hurts.
Are you from Toronto?
My second question. No.
Okay, just
but
ask.
I appreciated his question because I'm piggybacking off of that.
I understand. I get tied together. I see. Well, sister, it's
Okay.
like this, and I know that's what probably fueled that sister to come out and show her frustration publicly. How is it that our people, who are God's people, have to suffer under the Gentiles? And sister, what you're feeling is what I feel. And I'll tell you this. It's what the prophets felt. I mean, even Esdras in second Esdras says, how is it that you have, it's our people, you're chosen, and we're in derision, while the Gentiles, who are doing more evil and more wicked on earth, and they are operating unscathed. See,
exactly. It hurts so bad.
I know, sister, because I'm gonna tell you, what we're suffering is unbearable. But here's the light. The light is the fact that Christ has come.
Mm-hmm.
And the other piece about that is, you have to keep in mind in that same chapter, Romans 11, if it says, if the Gentiles have been blessed so, how much more our fullness? Sister, in our kingdom, it's going to be so glorious to the degree we will not remember any of the wickedness our people has experienced. It's going to be as if we were always kingdom people, kingdom family, because all of our sorrows are going to be washed away. Christ is going to teach us and give us the full understanding of why we had to go through all this. It's like a purging and the making of man all over again. It's not just, sister, it's not just given to us anymore. Okay? It happened the first time.
And I only follow GOCC at this point, because if you get behind some of these other camps that tell you it's going to be Israel only, you want to get behind that so bad because of the jealousy and anger behind, our feelings. It's easy to get behind these other camps because they're saying things that you want to believe in.
You want to hear. Hey, sister, it sounds good. It sounds good, but I'm going to tell you, sister, in a nutshell, let me put it this way. It sounds good, but that's not a kingdom I would want to be a part of. Why? Because that's not the kingdom Christ said would be. Keep in mind that the benefit of us being Israel is to see all of the nations and the Gentiles in Christ walking upright and understanding that we are the people that brought them this marvelous light. That's part of the reward.
Mm-hmm.
That they couldn't get this unless it was through us, sister. The educational system is dumb as a door now. Okay, the religions haven't given them anything. Sister, it's upon you to be a light to the Gentiles. That's how you're showing you are an Israelite. You are a light to the world. You are helping save the world. That's the perspective. And guess what? There's no price you can put on that. This is not about what I'm talking about, material wealth. Because the Gentiles have everything. They have the wealth and riches and are still miserable.
Yeah.
Sister, what? No. Let me say this to you, sister. What the Most High have given you is your name back. He's given you your purpose back. And that's something the Gentiles could never have, regardless of them taking full advantage of our fall. They could never have that promise of Abraham to one day stand in rulership on earth under Christ as the children of God. They can never have that. They can't take that from you. It's not theirs to take.
I understand that. Can you answer me just two more questions so I can let you move to the next call? I'm going to pray about it. But can you definitively tell me?
Sister, before I go there, sister, before we go there, because I see what you're saying. Understand this, sister. I can easily tell you what you want to hear. Let me tell you, what these brothers teaching about only teaching Israelites, it's nothing new. A matter of fact, I hear them teach it, and I be like, they're missing a few scriptures. I should teach it better than what they're teaching.
Right.
I'm listening to it. I'm like, yo, he missed that precept. He missed that precept.
Yep.
So, sister, you have to understand that what our purpose is. My purpose, you have to realize, folks. I mean, and I'm speaking to the brothers and sisters out there. Israelites, and understanding I'm an Israelite is the first stage in this work. The next stage is, once you understand you're Israel, it's self-examination, not what's going on with other people. How can I make it into this kingdom? And then the next phase is, okay, I understand this. Now I have the wisdom of the Most High and the wisdom of the Bible and my purpose. What's my purpose as a child of Israel? How do I help the earth? How do I help the people? And that's the next level. You become a fixer, not a complainer. Sister, let me tell you this. Okay? Let me tell you this. Christ says, and I'm sure you weren't in the last academy, were you?
I was not, but my cousin was.
Let me tell you.
He said it's good. I'm not going to be able to make this one.
No, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you this. If you were in the last academy, this question wouldn't have been asked this evening. Because I'm gonna tell you this. Hey, sister. I'm gonna tell you this. It's clear when it comes to the gospel and understanding your purpose in this gospel, that a lot of what these people are teaching out there is what the government labels black extremists. It's not the gospel of Christ.
Exactly.
It's their personal feelings against white people, and now the doctrine of the Bible have been tinted through their biases against white people. And this is the whole thing, sister, that I'm telling you. Okay?
But if they're not worried about us, like you said previously, why are they worried about us? Why are they censoring us if they're not really worried about
sister,
us, black Christians?
Sister, regardless of what they're doing, what I'm telling you, sister, okay, you're listening to these guys because they're saying what you want to hear. You would rather it be the Israelites will only get it, and that the other nations don't deserve to get it because they're not Israelites and they did wrong against us. So we're gonna take our basketball or our ball. It's strictly for us black people because y'all white people are bad and y'all can't have it. That's a child. Sister, listen to what I'm saying here to you. Only children think like that. When I say children, unlearned children.
By any means.
Sister, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the doctrines that are out there. Listen to me. Christ told us, he expressly told us, as in the days of Noah, then shall the coming of the Son of Man be. Right? Right?
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay. So listen to me then. Noah had an ark, right? Who was on the ark, sister?
Just him and his wife, his 3 sons, their 3 wives.
Ham, Shem, and Japheth were saved through the flood, right? Now, if it was intended for only Israelites to be saved through the flood or the destruction to come as the days of Noah, Shem would have only been on the ark, correct?
Well, I see where you're going with that, but the Most High brought them against us. I understand. He brings all of this against us.
Sister, that ain't my question. I'm dealing with the Bible. I'm not dealing with emotions. See, the Bible tells us, as the days of Noah, then shall the coming of the Son of Man be. Well, Noah wasn't the only one on the ark with his wife and Shem. It's upon us as responsible Israelites to be a light to the Gentiles, Because in order for us to talk about the Gentiles serving us, no wicked Gentile is going into the kingdom at all, anywhere to serve anybody. They must receive the truth to serve us, because they're not getting on the other side just by being Gentiles. They must learn of the living God. And if you don't teach them, if I don't teach them, who will? They'll die anyway. And where's your servants?
Okay, let me ask you on that note.
Oh, you
is
just
that
gonna
something that you teach us how to do in the academy? Because I've looked for your videos on Romans 11 specifically, and I haven't found it. So for me to be a responsible Israelite, I need guidance in how to give that message, because my delivery is terrible. I'm terrible with the niceties and stuff like that. I just want to get to the meat of things, so they may not receive me well.
Well, sister, they're not going to receive you well because it's not your position to do so at this time. Because right now you have to realize none of us can bring forth this word with our own personal biases.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
My heart is good. But
sister,
I can separate.
Hey, sister, of course your heart is good. But the heart is deceitfully wicked above all things. Who can know it? All of our heart have the tendencies to do evil too. And so how do we balance and understand when it's neither you or I, but the Most High? So what I can do is I can answer your question according to Romans 11, and I'll break it down right now so you don't have to look for a video on anyone breaking it down. Would you like to hear it?
Yes, I do. Please.
Okay, let's go to Romans 11 and 11.
Romans 11 and 11. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall?
Did Israel stumble that they should fall? Which means, will Israel be down forever? Will we be under the white man forever? Read.
God forbid.
No. Read.
But rather through their fall,
through our forefathers' fall,
salvation has come to the Gentiles, for to provoke them to jealousy.
So because our forefathers sinned, we had to go through the destruction. The Romans came against us in 70 AD, and that began us being scattered into Africa and different parts and remote parts of the earth. And the Most High allowed the Gentiles entry. To do what? To provoke Israel to jealousy. We would see on earth them basking in all the riches that really belong to us. Mm-hmm. And begin to ask the question, why? Now, in the midst of asking that question, we're not going to focus on what the Gentiles are doing. We're focusing on the God who gave what belonged to us to them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So now it was for nothing if we focus on the Gentiles. God didn't do it so that we can focus on them. He says, listen, look at me. I'm the one who took it from you. Do you want it back? I can give it back.
Yes.
I can give it back. See? So now Paul is going to break down what's going to happen because prophecy must be fulfilled due to the disobedience. So there's certain things that had to come to pass before we would begin the awakening, and the Most High would begin to take the curses off of us and at that point begin to give us our riches back. But guess what? You cannot get your riches back if you do not first have a name and a title to claim the riches. Mm-hmm. So that's the stage the Most High gave us at this point. He began to give us our name back, because then we start to ask questions. Well, what comes with this name? Everything. Okay, how do the Gentiles, they're in my back pocket. How do I get them out of my back pocket? A matter of fact, on top of getting them out of my back pocket, how do I get what they have, which really belongs to me? Right? Finish reading.
Right.
Verse 12. Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world.
If the fall, it says, if the fall of Israel become the riches of the world, because when we fell, that temple, Solomon's temple, they were able to build the whole Vatican in gold with the riches they took out of Solomon's temple. If the riches of the world, read.
Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world, and the diminishing them the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fullness?
So, if the Gentiles got rich due to our fall, how much the fullness when the 12 tribes reclaimed their original place on earth as the sons of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? How much more Israel fullness? Now finish, let me show you. When it says the fullness of the Gentiles, that's speaking of all 12 tribes together like it once was under David before the split. That's the fullness. Okay. Read.
Verse number 13. For I speak to you Gentiles, inasmuch as I am the apostle of the Gentiles, I magnify mine office.
Now Paul is speaking to the natural Gentiles. He's magnifying in his office beyond the scope of just Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. So he says, listen, my people are about to fall. You're going to receive everything by default. Here's the rules, Gentiles. Read.
Verse number 15. Or verse number 14, if by any means I may provoke to emulation them which are my flesh, and might save some of them.
So understand, Gentiles, I'm teaching you to save my people. At the end of the day, it's still about them. Read.
For if the casting away of them be the reconciling of the world.
So if the Most High cast away Israel, so that the whole world can get opportunity to the riches and power that comes with claiming Israel or Christ. Read.
Which shall the receiving of them be but life from the dead?
What would be the receiving of the Israelites be but life from the dead? What will the Israelites receive? Being the valley of the dry bones. But now, as the children of Israel, they live as the children of God. How much more when my people begin to awaken? How much more they will receive if the whole earth is rich through their fall? This is Paul teaching now. Read.
Verse number 16. For if the first fruit be holy, the lump is also holy.
If the first fruit be holy, the lump is holy.
And if the root be holy, so are the branches.
Now the root was holy, and out of that root came 12 branches, 12 tribes. Read.
Verse 17. And if some of the branches be broken off.
Now at this time, during Paul's time, some of the branches were broken off, the 10 tribes of the northern kingdom.
Right.
The only people that was left predominantly in Judea, the southern kingdom, was Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, Judea. So at this time...
And that's where the other camps twisted and make you think they're talking about the other 10 coming back.
Exactly, but they're twisted. Because how do you know it's not speaking of the... how do you know it's not speaking of the other tribes? Because he says he's teaching Now listen, sister, you have to listen to understand. It says that he went to the Gentiles to provoke his own flesh to jealousy. So they can't be the 10 tribes. Or they would be of the same flesh, same people as Paul. So that's nonsense they're teaching. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's magnifying in his office. So listen, let me break it down. You're going to understand further. So that we don't have to revisit this. You're going to have it completely. Okay? So it shows us here that the 10 tribes have already fallen. 70 AD would come, and our people, the black Jews who were left in Judea, would fall in 70 AD. And by default, the Gentiles would own everything that once belonged to the children of Israel. So Paul is prepping the Gentiles for that position in our absence, knowing that there will be no Israelites left in Judea. Read on.
Verse number 17. And if some of the branches be broken off,
And if some of them be broken off, the 10 tribes,
and thou being a wild olive tree were grafted in among them,
he says, and you being a wild olive tree was grafted in amongst them, you're not even a part of the original tree. Read.
and with them partakest of the root and fatness of the olive tree, boast not against the branches.
Say it again.
Boast not against the branches.
When you Gentiles get this position, you are not to boast against the original people. Because why? You are benefiting from their history. You're benefiting from their laws, their teachings, their prophets. The Most High didn't give the law to you. So at least give us a little appreciation here is what Paul is saying. Be gracious, not high-minded, Gentiles, is what Paul is saying. Someone had to take place after the fall of Israel. If these people thought they didn't have a place, then what would have happened to our records? If they thought, if they were told that you can't get anything, they wouldn't have held. They wouldn't have held our. Yeah, they wouldn't have held our record sacred. But when they believed that it was for them too, then okay, they would hold our record sacred while we go through what? The curses until the awakening.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
See?
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah, because what these guys are teaching in these so-called camps is nonsense. Everybody's an Israelite in the Bible, no matter who it is. Mm-hmm. So that they can teach their biases against white people. It's a stupid doctrine. And they're not rightly dividing the word of truth. Okay? Finish reading.
What do you have to say? Okay.
Let's finish reading. Come on.
Verse number 19. Thou wilt say then the branches were broken off.
Now this is what Paul told the Gentiles. You are not to boast against the original people. And now he's going to tell us what the boast is. That they will say that the Israelites were broken off or done away with. Read.
That I might be grafted in.
That the Gentiles can now be God's people. The boasting is exactly what the Gentile churches are teaching today. That the Israelites are done away with and now they've been replaced by spiritual Israelites. That's the boast that Paul warned the Gentiles not to do. So
Let
now,
me write that down.
Listen, yeah, write it down. Write it down.
Spiritual Israelite. Mm-hmm. I'm listening.
So they boasted. They did exactly what Paul warned them about, that they're not supposed to claim that they're the people and that God's people, that no one know where God's people are. Mm-hmm. They were supposed to still hold us intact as people of Israel like we were in every other empire we served. We knew we were Israelites under the Babylonian Empire, the Persian and Medo Empire. Even in Egypt, we still knew we were Israelites. So they weren't supposed to take that away from us and just call us Africans or don't tell us anything, just call us black. They began to boast against us so that they can stake claim to a land that doesn't belong to them. And then now Paul is teaching now what will happen to them if they boasted and say that it was all about them and that God's people are done away with and it doesn't matter. Paul now will state in the same chapter what will happen if they begin to boast.
Okay.
Read.
Verse 20. Well, because of unbelief, they were broken off.
Unbelief. Because of unbelief, our people were broken off. Read.
And thou standest by faith.
But the Gentiles stand by what?
By faith.
See, they stand by faith, sister. They don't stand by promise. It wasn't a promise given to them. They have to have faith in what Paul is giving them right here and stick to it and not vary from it, not deter from it. You understand? So
yes.
So if they go against what Paul is teaching them, him being the what? Apostle of the Gentiles, what happens? Read.
Be not high-minded, but fear.
Be not high-minded, Gentiles, but fear. Read.
For if the Most High Spirit, not the natural
If
branches,
he could put his own people in captivity,
take heed lest he also spare not thee.
what do you think he's going to do to you if he did this to his own people? So he said, if they begin to teach that God's people are done away with so that the Gentiles can be his people, that those Gentiles will suffer punishment as did Israel. So any Christian church promoting that will live the judgment written. In any church that's teaching it doesn't matter that God's people is done away with and have been replaced with Gentile Israelites now, or spiritual Israelites who are Gentile, they will suffer the punishment given to them by the apostle of the Gentiles. Read.
That's 90-some%.
There you go. Read.
Verse number 22. Behold, therefore, the goodness and severity of God.
Now Paul is saying, behold, see the goodness and severity of God.
On them which fell, severity.
He was severe with us. Why? To whom much is given, much is required. So Paul say, look, he was severe on his own people, his chosen. Read.
But toward thee goodness.
But toward you Gentiles, goodness. Why? Someone has to get the information. My people are about to suffer a curse. They're about to go into captivity. Someone must uphold this until they awaken. So it's goodness towards you right now, Gentile. Read.
If thou continue in his goodness.
See, but here's the stipulation, the prerequisite. If what?
If thou continue in his goodness.
If you continue in what I'm giving you right here, Gentile, never say it's about you, is what Paul is teaching here. Read. Or what?
Otherwise thou also shalt be cut off.
Otherwise, you also will be cut off. See what's going on with my people? It's going to happen to you. So, sister, understand, sister, that no one gets away. So you don't have to be.
I definitely see that now.
There you go. And that's why I wanted to edify the scripture with you so that you don't walk miserable in this beautiful truth. We've been waiting so long for this, sister, for us to get this truth and become miserable. The Most High don't want that from his children. He wants us to be happy and celebrate this. And what you're doing, sister, this is not through your spirit that you're acting like this or feeling a certain type of way. You're carrying someone else's emotions who are not rightly dividing the word of truth. It's that demon that have weighed you down and you viewing the scriptures through their venom.
Well, I've had a lot of people trying to put, the spirit starts to attack you. Satan's spirit starts to attack you once you're coming into the truth. Like my cousin brought me in earlier this year, so I've just been edifying and mainly following GOCC. But you know me, I had to get the perspectives of everyone just to make sure I wasn't being led. Just like the Christian church, you have to check your facts. So after I checked all the facts, GOCC is the truth. Yet what you guys teach lines up with 100% of what I've studied and what I know to be true. So that's why I came to you and I waited. I've been on this phone for an hour and a half trying to get this question answered. I was hoping you didn't end it before you got to my call.
Well, sister, I'm glad what we teaching is lining up with what you knew.
Absolutely. What do you have to say about family members that are not in the truth? Their tribe, their bloodline, but what do they have the same? Like, I can't bring some of my family into it no matter what I do. They want to believe
Hey,
that...
sister, you have to walk upright amongst those who are without. The greatest teacher for your family is how you walk in this.
Okay.
if I was you, I wouldn't even focus on trying to force anything on them because they're watching you intently and see your change. I'm more, and I know they're more concerned with what's going to happen if you start following these guys who are out there walking without wisdom, cursing people out, not realizing that the words they're putting out are going to be used against them very soon. Sister, be very careful not to follow and walk in the vein of these people. They're not of Christ. They're not of the Most High. One is not, let me tell you, one is not just because you are an Israelite through blood, not all Israel is of Israel. There were Israelites that strung Christ up, okay, that wanted him dead.
Yeah.
So, sister, what I'm going to say is the mind is a great thing, but guess what? It's a sponge. And it's upon you to filter or to understand what you allow in your space. Because what I don't want to do is every time you go and going to and fro, being tossed to and fro to these other different doctrines, that you go get yourself filled with a bunch of madness, and it's upon me to have to go and fix what you're breaking.
No.
Oh, okay.
I've already done all of that. That's the thing. I've done all of that before I called you.
Okay, all right. Well, sister, yeah. Hey, sister, listen. We're teaching the gospel of Christ. That's it.
Okay. One last question. This will be quick for you.
Well, sister, we done dedicated a whole show to you. One more thing, and we're gonna.
I know, but water baptism versus spiritual baptism. It's just a simple yes or no.
Sister, what spiritual baptism? What spiritual baptism? What are you talking about? A spiritual baptism?
Baptized in the Spirit.
What's that?
Are you talking about being baptized? Are you talking about the Holy Spirit, or whatever the case may be, being baptized to the Holy Spirit?
I know what she's talking about.
Yeah.
I'm just being a little sarcastic right here.
Right.
Hey, sister, what was Christ dunked in when he met John the Baptist?
Right.
No. Don't try to get around and answer the question.
Water.
When John tried to say, no, Christ, you should baptize me, what did Christ say to him? He forced John to do it. He says, listen, you do this now because it's upon us to fulfill all righteousness. Sister, Christ was paving the new way for repentance in a new priesthood. That's why the Pharisees were jealous. Why? Baptism is nothing new, sister. There are ordinances of washings in the Old Testament before the priests do certain sacrifices. So that's why the Pharisees and scribes knew what Christ and them were doing, because they were doing a new washing with a new path, no longer under Moses. And that's why the Pharisees wanted him dead. Baptism was always water, sister. It was never a spirit. The spirit happened. The spirit comes in subsequent after you come out of the water.
Okay.
So the whole thing is for us to have to question whether or not baptism is right. Water baptism is right. Prove what Christ said in Matthew 24, that there should be many antichrists amongst us. Who would be against what Christ did? Hold up. I wish I could drop the mic right now. Who would look at what Christ did and say, you know what? I think I'm going to do it a different way. A matter of fact, you don't really got to do it. You can read the word and be baptized. Simple as the day is old. Baptism is the word. Huh? All of the people during the time of Christ in Judea had the Torah and Tanakh with them. They had the word and did water baptism. And then I'm going to, no, sister, I'm going to, hold tight because I'm about to break down. I digress. Okay. Then they'll go to a scripture right? They'll go to a scripture in Ephesians, in Ephesus, talking about washing is the water of the word, and they'll go into that scripture, not even realizing, because they haven't studied, that the people in Ephesians 5 are already baptized. So when it says washing with the water of the word, it's telling a husband's duty is to keep his wife in the word. But these people are in the church already water baptized. See, they can only pull that fake garbage on the unlearned. Listen to me, sister. Christ said, I'm the way, I'm the truth, I'm the life. No man cometh to the Father but by me.
That's where they got me. That's where they got me, though. When I told them water baptism, no doubt, they were like, well, that's the thing. The new covenant makes where we're baptized in the Spirit. It's changed. That's where they got me. I didn't have a comeback for that.
I'm saying, sister, you ain't have a comeback for that because you don't know the word. And they know you don't know the word. But you don't need the word to combat that garbage. Because you can come right back and ask, what did Christ do?
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather follow him, dude.
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about? What did Christ do? Let's get that in John 4 real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get it in John, the 3rd chapter, excuse me.
Mm-hmm. There's something else I wanted to get on. So.
Go ahead, get what you got.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, listen, no Negro from North Philly or New York or anywhere can look at me in the face and say a spiritual baptism. I'm like, listen, you know what I'm looking at? Skull and bone. You're gonna die in hellfire, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm not here to debate no water baptism with you. What did Christ do? Who are you? I mean, go somewhere. Get out of here.
They got me. They were saying,
of course they got you.
To the truth, that's your spiritual baptism.
They don't listen. Listen. They simple as a day's old. Nobody want to hear that crap. Okay, it's crap. Okay, the bottom line is the Antichrist come in many forms, and there are Israelite Antichrists. Any person that denied the baptism is not worthy of the kingdom of heaven that they prophesying about. They talking about the white man not getting in when they're not getting in themselves. Read it.
This is John chapter 3, verse 3. Yeshua answered and said unto him, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God. Nicodemus said unto him, How can a man be born when he is old? Can he enter the second time into his mother's womb and be born? Yeshua answered, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born of water.
Of what?
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 Of water.
I mean, it's a shame that we have to even say this. You have to have the devil in you to look at this and say, well, I'm spiritually baptized. And Christ approves of this. What Bible you reading, buddy? But I'm gonna tell you, but if you let them talk to you enough, they'll finesse you into believing that what Christ said wasn't important here.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm a witness to that.
Yeah, because you're listening to the slick tongues.
Mm-hmm.
Like, listen, I don't want to hear nothing. What Christ said, buddy. Then the first thing they say was, well, let's go here. Where can we go outside of what Christ said, buddy? If I gotta go, if I have to go somewhere outside of what Christ said, then this whole thing is over, isn't it? They like,
unfortunately, he believes his own words, though.
Sister, I could care less what that brother told you and what he's thinking, because he's not Christ, and you're putting too much weight on someone who's not going to make it anyway.
Yeah.
Finish reading.
I just need to unsubscribe. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Verily, verily, I say unto thee, now check this out. It says, except a man be born of water and of the Spirit. So this idea of spiritual baptism does not negate the need for water. The Bible says water and spirit. he cannot enter the kingdom of God.
Because why? Sister, water baptism was prophesied out of the Old Testament.
Mm-hmm.
Wash you, make you clean. Put away the evils of your doing. Okay? That's in Isaiah, the 1st chapter. Because why? And this is what people don't realize, and this is what they play on. They play on those who are newly awakened, who don't have the knowledge to understand the principles Christ and the disciples taught. Okay? Water washings were actually, there were washings in the law for the priests before they can do certain sacrifices. Now Christ was saying, well, no, I'm the priest now.
Mm-hmm.
You can only come through my baptism.
Mm-hmm.
See? And that's the whole, and not only that, this is the sweet part about this. This makes it so sweet, sister. The fact that if they don't do baptism, you know who's against Christ before you know exactly who not to deal with. I don't gotta sit there and go back and forth with no Israel. I can ask them, what do you think about baptism? Oh no, that's the spirit. I'm like, okay, shalom, brother. See you later. So Christ then already gave us a way in which we can sever those who've already chose death, because you're not getting in without it. Nicodemus was high priest. You think he didn't have the word? You think he didn't know the law? He had the word. And Christ told him, no, buddy. Because why? Baptism is a public showing that you're no better than everyone else. And that's why he did it publicly. You must come down off of your high horse and show everyone that you're a sinner. And Christ died for that sin. You're not going to be no old high priest sitting there and looking and judging everyone else, but yet all your dirty laundry is still hid. He said, well, no, you a sinner too. And you must let everyone else know that I didn't just die for the people that been baptized. I died for you too, high priest. So get off your high horse, confess your sins, and get some water and receive the gift of the Holy Spirit. Because why? You're not getting in otherwise.
What are your comments as far as my water baptism that I got at 12 years old? I mean, that was when I was in the Christian church.
Well, on your own time, and I like you. Here's a little study for you. In your own time, you read John the 3rd chapter and John the 4th chapter, and go into Acts. Give me the Acts. What chapter that is?
Acts 19. Start at verse 1.
Acts 19 and 1, where those who were baptized under John, who haven't received the Spirit as of yet, ask, what should they do being baptized under John? And the answer for you will be Acts the 19th chapter for those who was baptized before they received Christ's baptism.
Okay.
You read that and you'll get that answer. I don't even have to teach you that. It'll just come to you now. We had to weed through the demons you allowed yourself to partake with. When I'm talking about the demons, I'm talking about the spirits you allowed in.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. You feeling better now, right?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Thank you so much. All right. I love you, brothers. Good
Sister,
night.
welcome to the truth. Shalom.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. We have one more call. 4836, last call. Was that it?
They dropped out.
Hello.
Shalom, last call.
All praises unto the Most High, unto both you elders. I had originally called. I was listening to the young woman that was on the call before me, and I had originally called to ask you to expound on Jacob and Esau, and something that the Most High revealed to me. The scripture verse in Romans 9, verse 11. He said, neither did good or evil before they were born.
Yeah, that the birth of God
And-
according to election might stand.
Right.
Yeah.
And what he revealed to me was, I see all of this tension in the body, all this division in the body.
In what body?
In the body of the Most High, where people are trying to come together in the truth. And you've got, I heard the young lady speaking
No, sister,
about the camp.
Sister, I need you to be.
I'm sorry?
I need you to be specific because
Well,
all people are not the body. The body is Christ.
I understand. That's what I was going to go to as well, where he talked about Rebecca had two nations in her womb,
Yeah.
and they are two kinds of people.
Two manner of people, yeah.
Right, two manner of people. So, but I'm not going to go there because I was going to ask the question about that, but you did such a great job in expounding with the young woman. So I know the hour is late, and what I'd like to do is just offer some edification unto the body, that they be encouraged, and that we are praying for one another. And one of the things, the problems, I will expound on this, that I see with the camps, I respect the fact that they're out there on the front line, they're doing what they feel they're called to do. However, I think their attitudes and their own emotions get in the way of the message that it could be much more powerful for people. They antagonize people a lot. And I just want people to be encouraged that not to allow that to make them feel less than what the Most High has labeled them to be, his people. We're all out here struggling, trying to hold on to the truth, find the truth. And one of the things that I see is with some of these camps, some of them, not all of them, but a lot of them, is that they project themselves as if they were not awakened like the rest of us had to be. None of us came into this knowing it right off. We all had to be enlightened. And I don't think that they're sensitive to the fact that we are shell shocked. Spiritually, we are shell shocked. When I came into enlightenment, I was just numb. All I could do was cry because I felt so repentant in my heart about, oh my God, I've been walking wrong all this time. I am so sorry, God. And I think that they don't give people place with that. It's like we have been wounded, severely wounded. And on top of that, our souls have been compromised to the nth degree because of false teaching in the church system. These preachers that have made money off of God's people and made their soul a commodity so that they can live fat on the land like the rest of the people. I want the body to be encouraged. That the word says in 1 Corinthians 2:9, I have not seen, ear have not heard, nor has it entered the heart of man what God has prepared for those that love him. And God knows whether your heart truly loves him or not. And these people out here are putting so much emphasis on what you do, what you don't do. I believe in the laws and statutes of God. But I also believe that God has to work that in our spirit. It's just like you were saying earlier. When we are little, we have to come to him like a child, seeking like a child goes to a parent. Anything that parent tells that child, they believe it. And I see that there's a lot of spirit out here that is coming against these little ones. And you know, it's time for those that have been walking in it to grow up. You know, we haven't done anything to deserve any of God's goodness at all.
Sister, let me. I know you're running real quick, and a lot of points you're making are good.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you this: when you go into the Bible, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we put too much emphasis on what these guys are talking about.
I'm just speaking with people in general.
I understand what you're doing, but listen to what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
There was people during the time when you're reading the book of Luke. There was a number of people who thought that it was their position, that they were prophesied to be in position to revolt against the Roman Empire. And these were people who were following Christ. I mean, excuse me, they were, let me make it clear, they was before that time. But they began to heap people to themselves. And what they began to do is form a revolt where hundreds of Israelites were killed at one time on one day by the Romans. And it's because they were shouting out against the wickedness of the Roman Empire, not realizing that it was the Roman Empire time to rule.
Right.
So you have to be wise. And if anything, Christ gave us the example of what to do when you are under the power of the Roman magistrate. Right? So we put too much emphasis on what those guys are talking about because they may be used for something uncomely.
I agree.
So when you read the word, you have to understand that Christ says he sent us out as sheep among wolves. Be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. He didn't put us out there on that street to curse people out. He gave us this.
That's right. I agree.
Listen, he gave us this word for self-correction.
That's right.
There's no way we can begin to teach others when we're not in a position to first clean our own house and correct ourselves. So when I read Galatians, the 2nd chapter, it tells us, it says right here, it says, and I'm in Galatians 2 and 4, it says, and that because of false brethren unawares are brought in, who came in privately to spy out our liberty, which we have in Christ Jesus. We talking about people, even people been amongst us. We know people that's going to come amongst us who are not with us, who are here to be spies or want or really hate our guts. But they're going to be, but they'll come amongst us nonetheless because their emphasis is to do what? To focus on scattering others who may respect us.
That's right.
And it says here, they came in privately to spy out our liberty, which we have in Christ Yeshua, that they might bring us into bondage, to whom we gave place by subjection. No, not for an hour. We don't care what these guys think because they haven't called us. That the truth of the gospel might continue with you. But of these who seem to be somewhat, whosoever they were, it maketh no matter to me.
Right.
The Most High accepteth no man's person. For they who for those who seem to be somewhat in conference, added nothing to me. So anybody who want to go into a conference and talk and try to claim, well, this is that and the other, let me tell you, if I paid attention to what's being said, no work would get done. If anyone got an issue with what we're teaching, it's just the gospel of Christ, and we are instilling the principles given in the book of Hebrews. And if you have a problem with us, it's fine. Stand in line. The line is getting longer. You better jump in now. People will speak against those who teach the truth until Christ returns. So
that's right.
In order to teach this word, one must have thick skin and not take anything personal. Because why? This is not my church, and this is not my business. This is the Most High's business. He called us. So with that, sister, I'm sorry. We're beyond midnight. Well, I'm gonna let you wrap it up.
I didn't want to expound on the camps. I was just mentioning the camps because that sister brought that up, and so many people have been hurt by some of the things that they said. However, I do want to share this one little thing with you. I was studying one day. And
hey, sister, no, I'm not. I can't let you do it. You're about to jump in.
No, I wasn't going to run into any time. I just wanted to point out a name. That's all.
Okay, come on.
Listen, I respect you, Elder.
All right.
As my older brother.
Okay.
I'm sharing to
How
edify,
you doing, Sharon?
not only.
Okay, let's go then. Let's do it now. Hit it.
Well, there's so much controversy. Well, there have been controversy about the name of Jesus. I'm not getting off on the name. It's just something the Father showed me. He told me to write that name down, Jesus. And he said, there is no J in the Hebrew. but there is an H. Put an H where that J is, and now read it. And put an accent after the E. That reads, he's us. He just gave me a revelation when I was studying at that time. He's us. That's what he's trying to tell us. He's us.
Hey, sister, hey, that's between you and the Most High on that one. Okay?
Well, I just wanted to share it to be an edification.
Okay, all right. It sounds deep.
It's something that you could just put before the Father. Maybe he'll bless you even more on that.
Hey,
I just wanted to share that.
Hey, I'm going to let that be with you and the Most High on that one. All right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Bless you, my sister.
You too.
All right. All right. One more call because she says she's on mute. 5223. This is it. Shalom.
Okay, this is Brother Savvy, and I know there's a lot of new people coming in, still have issues on doctrine, but they're going through learning process, and I know that you need to talk with everyone, but you need to learn from elders, deacons, bishops, and GOC officials. But that's just a point. And I just wanted to say thanks to water elders because I received a settlement of money. I went to the bank to cash a check. I never had a large sum of money before. Well, when I got the money, it fit in a shoebox. The money started burning a hole in my pocket. So I bought a car, a vehicle, tractor.
That's good. Good.
And then I attended every feast of the Most High that I could in Dallas. When I wanted to join the Hebrew Bible Academy, I wanted to put in a 5-year subscription. I liked it so much. But she'll let me know to go 3 months at a time. So that's what I did. Then I offered, I said, I would like to make a substantial donation. And Brother Rawchaa, you could have cashed in on me during that time, but all praises to the Most High. You directed me to only donate as the Most High directed me. And give all honor and power, all honor and glory to the Most High for that. And to Water Bishop, Elder. Every elder, bishop, and deacon that I have had contact with has given me the same treatment as you have. And it is awesome to donate to GOCC because anyone with any sense knows that this gospel is right on time. Shalom, brother.
Shalom. All praise be to the Most High. Okay, that's our lesson. Well, that's our talk today. I just wanted to talk to people, get with you, try to find out what's going on. It was a spontaneous broadcast, but an enlightened, spirit-filled broadcast nonetheless. Brothers and sisters, everything we've been talking about for years and what the Most High have shown us out of the Bible is about to come to pass. Let me tell you, let's put all those weightier matters, the things that bogs us down, those burdens, and put it behind us and start afresh. We're going this weekend. We're going to be there for the Tabernacles. I've been running racket all week. From the time I wake up to the time I'm going to sleep, I had to finish a project that I believe the Most High have driven me to do that's going to help our people on another level, okay? So that we can get into doors we wouldn't be able to otherwise. And I'd like to thank you for all of your support. Continue to support the church. Again, if you want to be a part of the academy, send an email to gatheringas1@aol.com. If you want to support or send donations, because what goes to the church is separate from us, you can send it to the elders. My name, you can put it in Richard Shepherd or Brandon Ray, which is Elder Lawya's name. And you can send that to 2000 Hamilton Street, P.O. Box 946, Philadelphia, PA 19130. And that money, only the money that is my name or to elders or to the Gathering of Christ Church offerings, go to us. Everything else is distributed amongst the body and the church. Okay? With that, I'm going to say shalom, brothers and sisters. You stay prayed up, sin not, and please stay on the path. Don't let no one veer you off. Keep in mind, it's too late in the game. to fail and to fall backward. With that, I'm going to say shalom. I love you. May the Most High be with you. Shalom, and be safe this Tabernacles.
Shalom.
Are you seeking to strengthen your biblical foundation? Join us in the Hebrew Bible Academy, where we offer 12 weeks of in-depth learning in a structured environment. Receive real-time news from Brother Rawchaa and amazing lessons by Elder Rawchaa. Learn ancient Hebrew with Elder Lawya. With 12 amazing lessons, you're guaranteed to learn more about your true biblical history and authentic Hebrew language than you would in a traditional Christian church for only a one-time payment of $150 or 3 monthly payments of $50. Join us at historytimes.org and sign up today. It's not too late. See you in the academy.